All right, so a few.
Boys, girls, and MBs of all shapes, sizes, colors, and orientations, welcome to the one, the only Alec Gunter stream. It is so good to be back once again. I feel like I've been doing this a lot lately. It's almost, it's crazy how that happens when you stream on a regular basis, you know? How's everybody? Hope you're all doing well tonight. Decided that, you know, I want to start covering some more electoral stuff since we're getting closer to the election. So we'll be doing a lot of that tonight. We won't be straying all the way off of what we usually do, though. Usually we do, like, React stuff. You guys know the drill, right? So I got one Matt Walsh React for you, but it is, it's a video about Nikki Haley. And to be honest, I haven't really been keeping up with electoral stuff that much lately. And that is a consequence of me doing a lot of React content and a lot of debates and shit. And, I'm going to still take, like, conversations and debates and stuff, but I do want to start looking more at electoral stuff, because we're getting close, right? We're in 2024 now. This is the year. This is the big one, okay? And it is important, unlike many leftists will tell you, it is important that Joe Biden wins, okay? We need Joe Brandon in there again, because the alternative is not great, and I'll stand by that. I think starting today, I'm going to start taking a stronger stance on that, because, you know, I don't think a lot of leftists realize how bad it's going to get if Trump wins. I haven't looked at Project 2025 myself, but from the things that I've heard about it, it's not great. Maybe I should look at that too. Scrolling through. Here, I'll show you guys. So this is project2025.org. A note on Project 2025. A promise to America. White House office. Executive, blah, blah, blah. So it's just going through its whole plan here. Here, let's see Department of Education. This should be interesting. We'll just read the first, here, we'll just read the mission statement. Maybe not all of it, but at least the first paragraph, yeah? Federal education policy should be limited, and ultimately, the Federal Department of Education should be eliminated. Off to a great start. When power is exercised, it should empower students and families, not government. In our pluralistic society, families and students should be free to choose from a diverse set of school options and learning environments that best fit their needs. Our post-secondary institutions should also reflect such diversity, with room for not only traditional liberal arts colleges and research universities, but also faith-based institutions, career schools, military academies, and lifelong learning programs. By this, I feel like by this they just mean, it could almost just mean indentured servitude. Follow the path outlined by Milton Friedman in 1955, wherein education is publicly funded, but education decisions are made by families. So basically, they're just saying they want to start publicly funding religious institutions because they don't believe in separation of church and state. Here, I want to see gender. Here we go. Safeguarding civil rights. Here, wait. What's this? The Conservative Promise. Advancing education freedom. Providing education choice for federal children. What does this mean? Special responsibility children are connected to military families. Okay, so if you're a part of a military family, you get special privileges. That's cool. Which you already kind of do, but... restoring state and local control over education funding. I forgot why I stopped doing this stuff. It's important, but it's not nearly as interesting as the outrage bait. Treating taxpayers like investors in federal student aid. Taxpayers should expect their investments in higher education to generate economic productivity. You know what would generate economic productivity is if people could fucking afford shit. You know? Maybe start there. Yeah, taxpayers should expect those borrowers to repay. So basically all they're saying is we are definitely... Like, this is just a flowery way of saying we are definitely not going to forgive student debt. Protecting the federal student loan portfolio. Here, I just want to do this. Safeguarding civil rights. Enforcement of civil rights should be based on a proper understanding of those laws, rejecting gender ideology and critical race theory. So that's the shortest segment here, and also the scariest. Because this is just fascist language. They just want fascism. And Trump he's on record as saying he will act like a dictator for the first day he's in office. And that's all he needs to undo so much progress that we've made as a nation, you know, in terms of like rights for people. People cite inflation as one of Biden's weaknesses, even though Trump's tax cuts for billionaires led to inflation. Well, Trump was worse than Biden in that department. Like, inflation always gets worse over time because that's capitalism, right? But Trump had, in 4 years, I'm pretty sure it got worse under him than it did under Biden. You know? But the point is, Project 2025 is coming, guys. If you let Trump win this election, you know, it's gonna be really bad. You know, I know we all want to talk about Biden and how he's handling Palestine. I keep saying Palestine right now, which is really bad to be sure. And I still think that people should be railing against him for that. But don't pretend like you're not going to vote for him. All you're going to do is make it so that Biden is like, well, we lost their vote. Guess we shouldn't pander to them. We'll be wasting our time. And then people come back at me and they're like, well, what if you need to pretend like you're not going to vote for him and then vote for him at the last second? You can't say that you're voting for him. That's not going to work. That doesn't work. Inflation is higher than it has been in decades. No, but what I'm saying is it continually gets worse. What I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying it's worse under Biden than it is under Trump. I'm saying that he caused more problems than Biden did. Biden didn't fix it. Just let me see shit. Stop making me exile shit. I'm so over it. Sorry, I'm on edge. It's, yeah, I mean, I believe you, see, but here, what's this? 2022 inflation tops previous decades. So this is from 2022, 2021, 2020. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that then. Maybe I'm wrong about that specifically. I don't know. Inflation is just one part of this equation, though. Yeah, I'm trying to stream every Tuesday now. I don't know. I'm going to be upfront with you guys. Like, I haven't done electoral politics in a very long time, and I don't know how good I'm going to be at it. But I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best. I want to do at least a little bit of electoral politics tonight. Just to keep up with it. I'll try to sprinkle it in here and there. Oh, I didn't ping stream announcements. You're right. Thank you. I wonder if nobody's here. There you go. Well, we haven't done anything yet. Hardly. But as I said, I'm going to be straightforward with you guys. I'm not confident in my ability to cover this stuff very well. But you can only get better at it as you go, and I want to start somewhere. So let's we're gonna start off with what do I have first in the title? Is it Vivek or is it DeSantis? I think I put Vivek first, right? No, I put DeSantis. We'll start with that then. I don't know why my energy levels just like dropped. They just plummeted. Like as soon as I started stream, I was like ready to go, and then now suddenly I'm just like, oh. Run these Santas. That's pretty true. I don't know why I'm coughing so much either. I think I have asthma or something. I got diagnosed with asthma when I was like 16, but then they revoked that and changed it to what's called paradoxical vocal cord syndrome, where my vocal cords would shut when they were supposed to open while I was like exerting myself, which, as you can imagine, caused issues. But now I'm starting to think I might have asthma. I don't know if it's like COVID caused or what, but something's up. Of course, it could also just be the fact that I'm literally allergic to cats, something that I know, and I also live with cats. Probably more likely. Oh, come on. Economics is a big people vote on, so that would be a good thing to cover throughout the year. Yeah, I need to get better about covering economic stuff. The problems that I have is that, like, I'm very content-brained. So, if I don't see something that I think is going to, like, you know, generate the clicks, I'm not as likely to cover it. But I gotta get out of that funk a little bit. We also have a React segment. We can do both. Like, we have Matt Walsh reacting to Nikki Haley, who I don't really know that much about, except for the fact that she made no comment on the fact that no, she didn't even know that the Civil War was about slavery, and then Trump was like, yes it is, she's stupid. She's so stupid. It was about racism, or sorry, it was about slavery. We should react to Yuta Higgin again. Why? What's going on with her? Maybe later in the stream. If you here, hold on. Let me search it. Hagen. Here we go. Trans versus do no harm. Trans versus multiple personality illness. Trans lobby harasses NH legislator. If I'm okay, so she's way smaller than I am now. So like, if I cover her, the only the only thing that I would be concerned about is platforming. I'm not too concerned about it, but there is a part of me that's like, well, she's really not that big anyway. So am I doing more harm than good by bringing attention to her? I really don't know. But if you spin that on its head, you could also say, well, if you make her look like an idiot, it'll just add to the lolcows that we already have built up. Like, what's her face? Fuckhead. I forget what her name is. I really do forget. What it... Oh, shit. Exulanzic. That's the one. Exulanzic. Do you have a set schedule for streaming? I thought about making one, Right now, I just have it loosely set up so that I'm doing Tuesday and Saturday. I'm trying to incorporate Friday as well, but right now, for sure, you can expect to stream Tuesday and Saturday sometime in the evening Eastern time. I know a lot of people don't click on economic stuff as much, but it doesn't hurt to cover sometimes. Probably better not to cover her because you would bring more attention to her. I don't know. I don't know. I feel okay, so I could also because I want to do this. I love covering people like this, okay? It's a disgusting habit that I have. But if I do it, I really need to be careful with the framing, where it's like, listen, there's this trend right now. There is a trend of some sort of trans widows. And like I want to show you a trans widow and demonstrate why they're fucking idiots. And why you shouldn't listen to their bullshit. You know? Like, I don't think that it would cause any harm, is my point. I think at worst she would, like, see it, and then maybe, like, either make a reaction video to it and clout farm that way, somehow. Which I think, at her size, would probably just bring her hate more than anything. Or, she could reach out to me and then try to have a discussion. Hi, I'm new. Are you into politics? You could say that. What's up, Tina? Tina, what do you think? Should I cover her? She's like way smaller than me, but she's like a trans widow. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I'd be like doing more harm than good than like you think so? She is really stupid. I'll be real. She is really stupid. Like I don't think that there's any way. She's bananas? Okay. I think that we have a obscure whack job. Ignore. Man, YouTube chat's saying yes and site chat's saying no. But the obscure whack jobs are fun. They're the ones that are fun to pick on. Because when you cover them and you shit on them, then you like, you see, the thing is, what people don't understand is you can like stem their growth. You know what I mean? They may get a small boost just from the attention of somebody bigger covering them, but then you stem their growth. You make it so that like Normans see my video and then they understand that this lady's a fucking idiot. And then they won't fall for this shit. You know, to the extent that normies even watch me, which I don't think many of them do. I've had some people say, listen, I just found your content and I love it. But I wonder how many of those people came from like Riverboat Jack or Vosh or Tina or, you know, whoever else. Probably not Tina. We have a lot of overlap, but, you know, like just other various streamers and YouTubers. Giving her notoriety gives her... I don't know. I doubt anybody from our community. Yeah, but it's not about our community. Our community is very small compared to the number of people who actually see my videos. You know what I mean? Like, just because you watch my videos does not make you a part of my community. That's pretty much self-ascribed, actually. Chat doesn't know what they're saying. I don't know. Here, let me see her most popular upload. Let's do that. Oh, look, it's her shit with Exulantic that we already covered. I did already cover her once. But, like, again, she's just not that big. She does not have that much attention on her. Like, I don't want to give her more eyeballs. I feel like right now I'm giving her more eyeballs, to be honest. If you can find me like a lol cow that's like at least half as many subscribers as I have, or you know, or preferably bigger, I'd prefer to cover that. I just feel like this is really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I feel like we can do better. Ute Higgin? Who the fuck is Ute Higgin and why do I care? You know what I mean? Like who fucking cares? We can do better. I have higher standards for my lol cows. I have higher standards for my transphobic lol cows. We can do better. But by all means, if you have another video like from an from a bigger transphobe. Transphobes don't get popular really? No, I disagree. I think that Blair White is super popular. I mean, I know that like you say really, so like that means like usually. I think you're correct, but you know, I can't talk to Buck Angel. You know, I've tried reaching out to him a couple times now, but I can't talk to him. I can't talk to JKR. I can't talk to these higher level transphobes. So sometimes I feel like I kind of have to go after the lower level ones. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. USDA prime grade lolcow. Yeah, I need a good one. Who's that one? He's like a trans guy. He's got the T slur in his name. Yeah, experience is not worth the grinding. Who's the dude who's got the T slur in his name? The trans dude. The offense? Yeah, that's what it is. This is what comes up in the YouTube search. Look at this. With the @ symbol. Sure. See, this guy's worth covering. 23K views in 2 days. This guy's worth covering. You know what? It's been a minute. Let's take a look. Or actually, let's see if he's got a very popular new one. New-ish. He's friends with Buck Angel. They're all friends with each other. They all have orgies together. They're disgusting. They're perverts. Reacting to insufferable trans activist Dylan Mulvaney. Cis women don't own womanhood. Oh, 3 weeks ago. He rejected me for being trans. Reacting to crazy QIA plus meltdown. That right there, that's how you find good content. Oh wait, not add to queue. I don't want that. I want save to playlist. There we go. All right. We got it now. We've got our lolcow for the evening. See, that's how we do it. That's some high quality content. This guy's a Grindr account. I mean, probably, and also it doesn't matter. I don't think he doesn't ever say that he's like against gay people. That's like the big turf grift, right? Is that like, no, it's fine and cool and whatever to be gay unless you dress gay and act gay and be gay and fuck each other in the ass because that's gay. You can't do any of those things, but it's fine to be gay. I just don't like all these trans people being degenerates in Western society. That is, you know, definitely not just for white people, cishet white people like myself, but you know, like, or you know, cishet white people like my friends over here that I've definitely tightly knit myself into so that they won't take me to the camps inevitably, right? That definitely won't happen because I'm one of the good ones in their eyes. You know, that's how these freaks think. Big overlap between TERFs and politically lesbian. Politically lesbian? What the fuck is that? I mean, you are a lesbian, I believe, right? A cis lesbian. So I assume that you probably know about more about that stuff than I do. But I've never heard of politically lesbian. It's funny. TERFs are misandrous at heart. They're misandrous and misogynist. They just hate everybody. They're like, they hate men because we have penises and that makes us bad somehow. And we hate women. Well, they say they love women, but they're trying to protect women, right? They're trying to coddle them like they're fucking babies. You can be a cis lesbian. Many people are saying that you can, in fact, be a cis lesbian. They're out there. One of the things that I thought about covering once, before we... Sorry, I know I want to get into the content. One of the things I thought about covering is the idea of, like, bi lesbians being bad somehow. Like, I don't know. Nova, you're the... Or whoever wants to step up and give their opinion, it's fine. But, like, I don't see a problem with it. It's just a fucking label. And it's... If you're getting mad at it, it's like there's 1.5 million other things to get mad at, first of all. So, like, you can be miffed, you can be annoyed, you can be irritated, whatever. You know, I can't thought police you. And you can say that, like, well, you know, I just feel like I'm a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian. But pretend that I'm, like, a sultry young cis woman. Or, it doesn't matter. Cis woman, whatever. Trans woman. I'm a lesbian and I'm not attracted to men. Right? And so I feel like if you are attracted to men and you're like dating a man possibly, or get married to a man and have kids with a man and live like a pretty heteronormative life, and then you call yourself a lesbian, I feel like that's detracting from what lesbian actually means. And perhaps there's something to that. You know, I think that you could have an intellectual conversation about that. I think that there is credence to that. But ultimately, I don't care. I really don't. Like, if you want to have that conversation removed from, like, you know, the greater political zeitgeist, I think that's fine. But then people get all up in arms about it. Like, no, you're a fake lesbian. You're a fake-ass lesbian. What the fuck? How dare you? And it's like, if you're so secure in your own lesbianness, you shouldn't give a shit. You shouldn't care. Just ignore it. What's the take on he, him lesbians? Go off. I don't care. I don't care. Like, none of these terms ultimately mean anything. I call myself bisexual, but all the dudes that I want to fuck look like women. So, like, does that actually make me straight? I don't know, and I don't frankly care. Being a lesbian is more about how you love women. I've heard that's also kind of the difference between being bisexual and being pansexual. But once again, it just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Look at this dude shredding. Look at him go. I respect the hell out of people who do this shit. It's so cool. I used to want to do that really bad. I identify with the label bi lesbian because, like, neither is the full picture. Yeah, see, and that's fine. I just don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I just... And that's why I decided not to cover it, by the way, because it's really not that big of a deal unless people make it so. Sorry, I thought it was falling. My mic situation has always been a little precarious. I wish that I could get a mic stand. Well, I can, but I just don't. At some point, I'll get a better mic setup. Okay. I think we should get started with the actual politics. What do you guys think? So much gatekeeping about labels. That's my thing. It's just gatekeeping. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. It's all just... It's fake. It's all plastered plastic bullshit. Like, it's made up to keep you occupied. Free your mind. Free your mind, okay? See past the Matrix. That's all I'm saying. Oh, sorry, that was probably a dog whistle, now that I think about it. I shouldn't say that. Andrew Tate was very big on the Matrix thing, and I feel like that was, you know, an unnecessary dog whistle. Probably should cool it with that, otherwise I'm going to trigger people. Sorry, I still have a huge stick on my ass about that guy. He's in my head rent-free. I don't know what the deal is. I can't, like, something about him is just so grating. Anyway. I wish my dang AirPlay would work, but I'll just use YouTube to watch. Oh yeah, no, I do that all the time. I'll use YouTube to, like, watch, and then I'll use my phone to chat. There's a really good chat feed. Like, the White Forest websites have a really good chat feature for mobile users. No, us transers need to reclaim the Matrix. I believe that as well. It's so pointless too. Like, who cares? People usually know what I mean when I say I'm a bi lesbian. Exactly. It means that you're bi. It could mean that you're bi and you also like women more. It could mean that you're bi and you're currently in a lesbian relationship. It could mean that you're bi and you also incorporate elements of lesbianism. Like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Doesn't. If you're a gender abolitionist like I am, or you want freedom of, like, gender expression, it shouldn't matter to you. It shouldn't matter. At all. What gets lost in the conversation a lot is that if you're a gender abolitionist, you're also a sexuality abolitionist. So lesbian, gay, bisexual, bisexual, pansexual, omnisexual, whatever else, asexual, all gone. It's all gone. It all goes out the window. If gender goes out the window, so does all of that. Okay? If you're asexual, all that means is that you don't want to have sex with anybody, and so you just say, nobody's ever caught my interest. You know, or, you know, I just haven't had any desire. Well, I finally fixed the alerts, I think. At least you can see them, I guess. I couldn't see what that one said, though. There's got to be a way to go into, like, the White Forest website and see those. Let me see. Because I feel bad when I miss it. Oh, there it is. It's in the chat. Tier 2 subscription from Carl Marksy Marks. Marky Marks. Thank you. They said, new here. You cover politics and sports. Conservatives are losing their minds over the Patriots hiring a black coach. I did hear about that. And I saw like Hunter Avallone did a video about it, but I didn't watch it. I'll put it.
Fame, power.
Oh, there it is.
New here. You cover politics in sports. Conservatives are losing their minds over the Patriots hiring a black coach.
Yeah, sorry. I was just saying. I think that I think it's the White Forest having some issues with delayed audio output or something. Anyway. Yeah, we can add that to the playlist. We'll see if we get to it. Although I am doing... I was going to do the Matt Walsh segment on Nikki Haley because I want to learn more about her. We can do both. It's fine. We can do both. 2 for 1, Matt Walsh. He's good for my algorithm anyway. We're intrinsically married in the algorithm now. Okay, I think we should get started, yeah? The year is 2024, folks. Many are saying that there is a presidential election happening this year, and many of those people would be correct. There is, in fact, a presidential election happening in November of this year. And the stakes are high. They're very high. If you have not read Project 2025, which I haven't either, to be fair, but I've seen some interesting tidbits from there, such as they want to completely remove what they call gender ideology and critical race theory from schools. They also want to completely obliterate, while we're on the topic, the Department of Education. They just want to get rid of it, which would be really bad. I also saw that they wanted to, I mostly looked at the educational segment, but I also saw that they want to publicly fund religious institutions, okay? Religious educational institutions. So conservatives do not believe in like basic scientific research on trans people. They don't believe in like, they can't deny that slavery was a real thing that happened, right? But as far as, it is, people such as Ron DeSantis, who coincidentally we'll be covering here, don't think that it was that bad, right? And perhaps maybe we should enslave Ron DeSantis and see how he likes it. Because clearly it was just a training program, right? It was just, for lulz and the giggles. And, to prepare those blacks, right? Those for the jobs program, right? A jobs program, exactly. It was a favor, really, at the end of the day, when you think about it, right? So Ron DeSantis, despite thinking those amazing, high-level, important ideas, decided to drop out because apparently those ideas weren't enough for his constituency. So let's take a look at I believe this is just his message about dropping out and endorsing Donald Trump, who has, I believe, said something about him that was very, I don't know. He's a Trump cuck now, is my point. Let's get started. From Florida. Oh, also, I want to say for the YouTubers, which I already said for chat, lately I have not been covering politics. Sorry, I've not been covering electoral politics very much lately, and I want to start trying to change that because it is 2024. It is election time. And I do believe that we need to get the vote out for Biden. I know that it's really contentious to say that right now with everything going on with Palestine. I get it. But simply put, Trump is just 10,000 times worse. And he would dismantle the democracy if he gets into office. I truly do believe that. So that's why I'm going to start covering electoralism stuff more. And, just trying to just see how it goes. You know what I mean? Just see how it goes. We'll still do the fun react stuff and whatever, but I just need, we need a little bit here and there as a treat. So without further ado, let's see what he's got to say. Let's see what our big, sweaty, mal-dressed boy has to say.
Greetings from Florida.
Hello.
The warmth of being home is a reminder why I've chosen public service. From joining the United States Navy and serving in Iraq to representing the people in the U.S. Congress and now serving as governor of Florida. And it reminds me why I decided to run for president. To fight for those who've been forgotten in this country. This is America's time for choosing.
Who does he mean? You know who's been forgotten? Trans people. Not lately, I should say, but they certainly haven't been forgotten lately. But if you want to use that term, You know, they don't have any fucking rights. So what people are we talking about here?
We can choose to allow a border invasion, or we can choose to stop it. We can choose reckless borrowing and spending, or we can choose to limit government and lower inflation. We can choose political indoctrination.
Limit government unless it comes to school, right? Oh, look, he's saying it right now. We can choose to political indoctrination. This is just This is just government takeovers of schools that he's describing right after he said we need to reject government involvement. And also medicine, by the way. He doesn't like trans medicine.
Or we can choose classical education.
Classical education. Expand on that. I'd like to know.
These choices are symptoms of the underlying struggle to ensure that constitutional government can endure and that Western civilization can survive. And he is
like a middle schooler doing a presentation for class. You're absolutely correct.
Launched this campaign to bring accountability to government, regain sovereignty at our border, and restore sanity to our society.
This is all fascist rhetoric, by the way.
Cannot succeed as a country if we allow our nation to be invaded,
straight out of Hitler's
currency to be debased, our cities to crumble, and our kids to be indoctrinated. The DC elites who facilitated this mess do not care about you, and they do not work for you. They work for themselves. They seek to accumulate power at
yes, the elites, right? They have to keep it vague.
Your expense to pursue.
How many times has a leftist unironically said the word elites, okay? Like, really think about that. When we talk about people we don't like, we're specific. Conservatives have to keep it vague because they know that they're gesturing at some unknown uwu boogeyman. And when you like try to dig into that, they'll start getting into the Democrats, perhaps even the Jews, right? Or they won't say that if they're smart, but they'll hint at it. They'll hint at it, right? It's a little JQing. But they'll never say that like Jeff Bezos needs to be taken down. They'll say George Soros, sure. They may even say that they don't like Jeff Bezos or that he, but they'll never go after anybody for their money. Okay, they will never do that. They'll never say Jeff Bezos has too much money and he doesn't deserve it, or that even Bill Gates or George Soros has too much money and they don't deserve it. Their problem with George Soros, which the left has a problem with George Soros, which is that he's got too much fucking money. The right's problem with George Soros is that they think he's a Jewish shill who's like injecting Western culture with trans ideology and whatever. Like, that's their belief. My point is, leftists are very specific and conservatives have to keep it vague.
An agenda that is harmful to the American people. Citizens do not serve politicians.
He acts like Biden supports open borders, even though Biden's continuing border construction. Yeah, so like Biden builds more U.S. border wall using Trump-era funds. Yeah, so he's literally building more border wall. And then they turn around and they're like, he shouldn't do that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, the conservatives didn't like him for this for some reason. I forget what the exact talking points were, but they did not respond well to him doing that. They just like sneered and called us all. They called Democrats like what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, hypocrites. They were like, look, you love it when Biden does it. It's like, no, nobody's saying that they love it when Biden does it. Nobody's saying that. You're living in a fantasy land.
It is the duty of politicians to serve you. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words.
Oh, yeah, no, he looks terrible.
Reversing the decline of this nation requires leadership that delivers big results for the people we are elected to serve.
He looks like what happens if an alien were to try to like mold a human. You know what I mean? Like, what are these lines here? Like, I know I don't want to go after his appearance too much, but like, I feel like there's some stuff that you can do. Like, he just looks weird. He looks very off-putting,
I have a record of leading with conviction, championing an agenda
his soul's
marked
gone.
by bold
it's been
colors,
siphoned out of him.
Delivering on my promises, and
not by his wife or anything.
People
I'm sure that's
who are responsible for our
sailed.
nation's decline. That is the type of leadership we need for all of America. Now, over the past many months, Casey and I have traveled across the country to deliver a message of hope that decline is a choice and that we can, in fact, succeed again as a nation.
Who's Casey? I thought she only went by mommy.
Nobody worked harder, and we left it all out on the field. Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory.
So just say that you gave up, man. Just say you lost. I couldn't possibly ask. Yeah, sure, man. I'm sure that like you're just so honest and straightforward about this, right? I could never take money from my constituents without them expecting something in return. I could never do that. It's just, look, I'm Ron DeSantis, right? Like you guys have never known me to do that, right? Mother was a Pence thing? No. You guys are forgetting. Hold on. We got to pull it up. Or you never saw it. Ron DeSantis, mommy. He had a moment. He had a little gamer moment. Is this it?
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis's not yet even a real campaign might already be collapsing. Ron appearing with Casey DeSantis, and they tell a very coordinated story about how, you know, they had a Disney wedding or something, but it was all before. They fell in love at Disney, but it was all before Disney went woke.
One day, she comes to me and says, you know,
She comes to me with tears in her eyes, and she says, sir.
Talking to my parents, and they were interested in potentially doing the wedding at
Walt Disney World.
Oh.
He said you can do it, however.
No Mickey, Donald Duck, anybody at the wedding.
Okay, this is not what I was looking for. Where is it? Does anybody have the clip where he says mommy? Here. Wait.
So my mommy or my wife, and we have.
See, that's it. It's just a little funny thing.
Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will not stop now. It's clear to me that a majority of Republicans...
Wait, he's delivered on 100% of his promises? Ron DeSantis campaign promises. I mean, depending on how vague they were. Here, the DeSantometer. Promises kept, 33%. Not looking too good, man. We'll measure whether Governor Ron DeSantis is able to accomplish what he told voters and ultimately rate it. Each promise is kept, broken, or compromised. Wow. This is thorough. Address rising sea level challenges. Compromise. Ron DeSantis... Wait, he said that he would address rising sea levels? Sounds like woke liberal bullshit to me. Quote, Ron DeSantis will work with local governments to prioritize sustainable growth and flood mitigation efforts and rising sea levels. So that was a compromise. They put him all the way up here? They're really like giving him a lot of credit for that. What has he done? Ron DeSantis, climate change policies. Flanked by, it's from CNN, flanked by 2 oil rigs in West Texas, DeSantis vowed to withdraw the United States from global climate change What? They're being so nice to him on this. How the fuck is this a compromise? What did he do? Florida's climate policy. Governor DeSantis in 2021 signed a bill into law creating the Resilient Florida Trust Fund to support the Resilient Florida Grant Program and development of the statewide flooding and sea level rise. Okay, so there it is. That's what we're looking for. The Resilient Florida and Trust Fund. So he did take some steps to combat flooding, right? Like very specific. If I had to guess, it's all reactionary, right? It's like the flooding's already happened. And so now he has to go back and fix it because now you can't deny that flooding is going to happen because it happened. So now you have to go back and fix that shit. That's where the compromise comes in. I think that's being way too generous. 33% kept, 40% compromise. So 73% is what they're giving him. I think that's pretty generous, but it's certainly not 100%. So he's lying there.
Of my promises. And I will not stop now.
Even the people being generous to him are lying.
The majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him.
Well, Lady Nova, that's the conservative playbook, is they'll deny, and then when it finally does happen, they have to say, well, who could have possibly seen this coming? Let's fix it, right? Kind of, sort of, with duct tape and paper clips, right? Don't put too much money into fixing it. Even though now it's like super expensive to actually fix it when it would have cost a fraction of this amount just to prevent it from happening in the first place, right? But don't put too much money into it now. Just like give it a Band-Aid and a slap on the ass and say spit on it and good luck, champ. Good luck. Get back out there, champ. Get back out there. You're fine. Meanwhile, he's like running out with like his arm dangling behind him, like please, it hurts. Like no, he's fine. Get him back out on the field. He's good. Like that's their policy prescription.
Well, I've had disagreements
it's just
with
a flesh
Donald Trump,
wound, man.
such as on the
Get over it.
coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent.
Still trying to get digs in here. Dude, you have no clue how messaging works. In a charisma black hole, man. Not only are you dropping out of the race, which you did have a small fan base, okay? I don't want to take that from this guy, okay? Give him that. He had a very small, dedicated, very weird fan base, okay? Very weird, but they were there. And now he's dropping out. He's losing that fan base. He's trying to gain back some credibility, scrape it just in tears, just like gathering up what tiny little bits, shreds of credibility he has left. And what does he do? He drops it. He's like, fuck it. And he drops it. He's like, well, I mean, Trump did endorse Fauci. Remember that guy? I'm just saying he did endorse. You were never going to be president. I cannot believe I was ever scared of this guy. I feel really bad for all the Floridians living under him, and they have every reason to be scared of him. But as a country, you have no concern. Like, there's no concerns in my mind that this person will ever receive a higher seat than governor of fucking Florida. Loser.
Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents.
I blame Bosch for causing the DeSantis panic. It was a real problem. We didn't know just how much of a charisma black hole he was. But when we thought that he had a chance, Ron DeSantis, for all of his gaffes, he is very smart. Okay, guys? Like, he's not smart enough to market himself properly, but when it comes to policies, specifically horrific policies that make people's lives worse, he might as well be a brain surgeon. Okay? He's very smart when it comes to that specifically. So it was a problem. Fortunately for us, he min-maxed that, and so he put nothing into his charisma points, and so now this happened. He's got to drop out. And he's still taking L's while he's doing this.
The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology.
Let's dig into that a little bit. Kowtowing to large corporations, like who? Go ahead. No, please, go ahead. I would love to list some off and then talk about some solutions on how we can stop kowtowing to them, Ron. I would love to know.
Are over.
Of course, his answer would be Disney, and by kowtowing, he means letting them show gay people kissing when they show straight people kissing all the time anyway. Like, that's what he means by kowtowing, even though literally nobody fucking cares.
I thank all of our passionate supporters who have stood by us through it all. That we had people volunteer to come to Iowa in the middle of a blizzard to knock on doors and make phone calls touched us dearly. No candidate had more.
Look at him trying to smile. He's like got one lip curled up and the other down. It's like he can't do it. He just can't do it. He can't.
Thrown at him, but
it's impossible.
No candidate had so many committed volunteers and staff. Finally, I want to thank my wife, Casey, and our kids, Madison, Mason, and Mamie. Casey's gone far above and beyond in her support for our campaign and for our cause. She's not only a great wife and mother, she's a great American who cares deeply about the future of the country that our kids will inherit. Our kids have seen and done a lot.
And I know that because when I had her tied to the radiator, I forced her to say it.
Lot on the trail, from playing on the famed Field of Dreams baseball.
Oh, no, sorry. She must have, sorry, that's giving him too much credit. It's probably that he was tied to the radiator after begging her to do it, watching her fuck another man. And then that's when she said it. And that's when he climaxed.
In Iowa to making their first snowman in New Hampshire. They are one of the reasons we fight so hard for what we believe in. Winston Churchill once remarked that success is not final, failure is not fatal.
Oh, Mommy, you're such a good American, Mommy. Oh, Mommy, you're such a good American.
While this campaign has ended, the mission continues. Down here in Florida, we will continue to show the country how to lead. Thank you, and God bless.
Disgusting, man. What a reprehensible creature he is. I just don't know how anybody could endorse him or like him or anything. It really does. It's one of the mysteries of all time, I'll say that. As far as like how this will affect the election, It won't. I mean, everybody knew that Trump was going to be the front runner. Ron DeSantis, I think that he did want, like, they tried to put some stock into him before realizing that he is just a money sink, right? Like, any money that you throw at Ron DeSantis, you might as well just be burning it, because he has zero chance against Trump. They even gave the guy training, is what I've heard, to act like Trump, and he just can't do it. He can't do it. And frankly, I think that trying to act like Trump is what's getting him in trouble. Because if he would just fucking try to act like a normal person, which he's not, so then again, that's impossible for him. But like, if he could just get that down, then maybe he would have a shot, right? I was scared that he would actually be like a normal functioning human being. But now that I see that he's not, it's, you know, I stopped fearing him a long time ago. As far as the Iowa caucus, as you can see here, we'll tack this on at the end. He is, oh, sorry, this is my, sorry. He did get second in the Iowa caucus, but not by, you know, Trump won by 51%. He had more than half the votes. Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, and I think even if you throw Vivek in there, Vivek, right, sounds like cake, none of them could hold a candle to Donald Trump. Let's see, 21% plus 19% is about 40. Yeah, so Trump got more than all three of these guys combined. Oh, wait, he has 51%. He got more than all the rest of them combined. What am I talking about? I can't math. He literally got more than all the rest of them combined. He has 51%. So, like, yeah, of course, it was always going to be Trump. Unless he gets incarcerated, which at that point, they're fucked. Like, they have nothing left if he gets incarcerated or can't run for some other reason. So I'm keeping up my hopes for that, but ultimately, we are probably going to have to beat him fair and square in an election. So that being the case, I would encourage you guys to, you know, start paying attention to some of these numbers and seeing what's going on, and convincing some of your friends to vote for John Brandon or whatever, because this is important. Like I said at the beginning of this video, Project 2025 is coming if you let Donald Trump take the election. And believe me, he has a chance. I still think that Biden's the front runner, but Trump does have a chance. People voting for Trump vote for Trump because they love him. People voting for Biden vote for Biden because they don't like Trump. They don't love Biden. There's a much more motivating factor for people to get out and vote for Trump. Okay? The one saving grace is that Trump did tell his constituents, it was his constituents at the time, his supporters, I should say, not to vote by mail. And that was a huge shot in the foot that will affect him forever, you know, as far as his election chances go. So that's, you know, there are people on the right who are losing faith in the electoral process, a lot like there are some people on the left losing faith. You know, so I want the people who lose faith on the left to be far fewer than the people who lose faith on the right, because remember, guys, conservatives would not be trying to restrict voting rights if voting didn't do anything. If voting didn't do anything, conservatives would not be bending over backwards to gerrymander and keep people from being able to vote. It is very hard to rig a United States election. Very hard. And conservatives have done a very good job of it. So please, you know, I know that this was supposed to be around Ron DeSantis, but I can't stress this enough. Please, you know, get out and vote when, you know, come September, and convince your friends to vote for Biden, because I can't do Trump. I can't do it. I will fucking move out of the country. I will move out. Probably. I don't know. That's why they're going after mail-in voting. It stops them from skewing the election results by voter suppression. Yeah. He needs to get off his ass and do the work himself. Ron, please, I need someone to talk to. Can you cuddle me? So his campaign failed. What a shocker. He's like a little child. He's like a little child who didn't get the toy he wanted. He means that we cannot go back to fascism. Honestly, he needs to get off his ass and do the work himself. Are you talking about Ron DeSantis? People literally died for the right to vote in this country. It makes me sick that people complain about doing the bare minimum. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is like voting is just the bare minimum. That's the starting point. If you don't vote for like the most progressive candidate. How can I, like, if I can't trust you to do that, how can I trust you to do anything? You know, one or the other is going to win. Unless you can convince me that a third-party representative has a shot in hell at the presidency, which I don't see right now, and everyone's saying, vote third party, vote third party. You're self-contradicting when you say that. Do you know why? There's more than one third party, dumbass. Which one? Which one? I'd love to know. Which candidate do you think has a choice against Trump? I would love to know. And Biden, both at the same time. You know, I know people are getting tired of this shit, and I know that I'm in no space, you know, with as privileged as I am, I'm in no space to lecture people on this. I get that. But that doesn't mean, just because I'm privileged doesn't mean that I'm incorrect on this, and I have yet to be proven incorrect. Okay? It's easy to be doomer, but, like, we have to keep things in perspective. Still wild that Election Day is not a federal holiday. I agree. That's bullshit. Voting is a civic duty. Vote for a third party is a vote for Trump. Honestly, I used to hate that talking point, but yeah, no, I'll say that. A vote for a third party is a vote for Trump. Not voting for Biden, you might as well be voting for Trump. I don't give a shit. 47% of GOP primary voters in New Hampshire say Trump is unfit to be president. Trump is a threat, but people overstate his strength. See, I would rather overestimate him. Maybe you're right, but I'd rather overestimate him. What's the harm in overestimating Trump? He won once. We've seen that he won once. You know, everybody thought that Hillary had it in the bag, remember? So I'm not letting this go. I'm not, like, toning it down. I'm treating Trump with every bit of seriousness that I can. Because I still think that Biden's the front runner, but I'm not taking chances. Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page, Carl. Because I think you're right. I do think that you're correct. I think that Biden still has a very good chance. No, I'm not doomer. I promise you I'm not being doomer. None of this was to be doomer. Sorry. Sorry if I came off that way, guys. Thank you. Yeah, please keep me in check. None of this is to be doomer. I'm simply saying, don't let him win. This is the opposite of doomer. Doomer would be, hey, don't go vote. Biden's the same as Trump anyway. That's doomer. Really tragic that anti-voters are also going to be the ones who wonder why they have to suffer a struggle. Well, they're going to be whining. I know exactly what happened last time, because up until, like, right before the 2020 election, I was a Bernie or buster. Up until right before the election, I was a Bernie or buster. I was not going to vote for Biden. Not going to do it. But then I did. Mainly because my sister convinced me to. And she was the one that I looked up to at the time. So, which I still do, but she convinced me to because, like, again, it's the lesser of two evils. And I'm sorry that we have to keep rehashing this same story, but it is. Okay? If I have to pick between eating like 1 gram of shit or 1,000 grams of shit, you know, a kilogram of shit, I'll take the gram. If I'm forced to pick, I will take the gram of shit. Who the fuck would pick the kilogram? You can't pick neither. You get one or the other. Yeah, Trump will make anti-trans legislation federal. If you think the shit going on a state level is bad now, just wait till Trump's first day in office. He's said so himself. He will be a dictator the first day in office. He has said that, and I believe him. You should believe him. Believe everything that he says. Believe him. In terms of, like, you know, that. In terms of his sexual exploits, probably not a good idea to believe him on that. Recall that he was besties with the guy who definitely killed himself. Why do I want to say George Soros? It wasn't George Soros. I'm really bad at names, sorry. You guys know who I mean. Epstein, thank you. Also, you're not going to sell anything to lefties by saying voting is a civic duty. That's how you sell it to righties. If you want to sell it to lefties, honestly, it's a lot harder. If you're a lefty and you don't want to vote, like, there's very little that I can say to change your mind, I feel like. All I can do is sit here and yell at you for being an idiot. Please do research on Project 2025. I agree. I was just looking at that before the stream started. Just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to let the music keep playing. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I will be right back. And I'll get ads working eventually, I guess. I got the notifications fixed finally, for the most part. I still got to talk to White Nervosa about why there's a sound lag, but it's fixed at least. So, and if you'd like to figure out whether or not it's fixed, you can always try to give me money and see what happens. But anyway, I'll be right back, guys. I'm back. Was good. Okay, what do we got next? Vivek rhymes with cake. Let's go.
Ramesh.
There we go. Okay. If I ever do streaming, I'll have to cut my donation sound from some part of this clip. See, Lady Nova gets it. Thank you. Lady Nova's the only mod left. You know what? Lady Nova's the only one around left in the chat. Everyone else out. Everyone else out. None of you get me except Lady Nova. Now, Lady Nova, please keep enabling these horrible toxic behaviors. Please. Oh, sorry. See, Lady Nova. There's really nothing to see. It's just me being a clown. Lady Nova does get me. I'm a lesbian woman, just like her. All right. Being a mod's not all it's cracked up to be. I am one. The only reason I say that is because I am one in Shark's chat, which I've thought about telling him I don't want it anymore. I'd rather have the fancy blue name, you know what I mean? In my chat, it's a gold name. Because I'm classy. My spirit animal's Alec, thank you. No, you'd still have your rainbow. You'd lose the color. You'd have a pink name and a pink upside down G, which it's still technically a G, I think. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Never mind. You'd have a pink upside down G and then a rainbow G right next to it. Yeah, it is easy because everybody here is cool. There was one person that I missed when I was covering that one dude who was like shitting on me. The card posting guy, the dog whistle guy. He was like shitting on me in YouTube chat. And because I was bad at reading YouTube chat, I just completely missed it. I kind of wish I'd have seen it. I wanted to respond to him. He's being a little funny guy. Okay, let's get going. Continuing with our trend of covering electoral politics, we have another video. Now, don't be concerned by the length. It is a 58-minute video. We are not watching all of it. There's a specific part that I would like to go over in all of this glorious HD, as you can see from Vivek Ramaswamy's channel. Vivek rhymes like cake. And as you can see, as you'll be able to see here, Donald Trump's speech, but he did bring on a special guest known as Vivek, open quotation, rhymes with cake, close quotation, Ramaswamy, who I believe, has he dropped out officially? I know that like his only reason for running at all was just so he could get his name like plastered everywhere and probably get some book deals and whatever. And also lick Trump's asshole like he's fantasized about for so long. But I don't know if he's dropped out yet. So let's just see what's going on here. I know that he's endorsing Trump at least. So he's out. Okay, great. So we have confirmation from Karl Marxy Marx in chat, who I trust deeply, that he has dropped out officially. So let's see him lick Trump's ass a little bit. Not literally, but, you know. Don't worry. It was just a little bit of a trick. The quality did get better, but I found a frame where it was really bad, and I thought it was funny.
He's young, and he's got some young ideas, too, and that's a good thing. So he has a big, beautiful, bright future ahead. Vivek Ramaswamy. Come on up,
Vivek. Like cake. Sounds like cake. What's going on? This is not YouTube. This is just how the video's cut.
Let's do this, guys.
Wow, man.
It's good to see you. It's good to be back to New Hampshire.
That's crazy.
We miss you guys. We're going to make this happen, and you guys know this well. Is this? You know this man.
Okay, stop calling it leftist video quality. Stop that. That's an insult now. Look at this conservative video quality. This is conservative video quality from now on. I'm calling it. I'm calling it.
You know why we're here, awful. Patriots across the state.
They'll spend money on almost anything except good recording equipment.
We are in the middle of a war in this country. That's what this is. It's not a war between black and white. It's not between Democrat and Republican, even in a deeper sense. It's between the permanent state and the everyday citizen. Between those of us who love the United States of America and a fringe minority who hates this country and what.
I agree, although probably not in the direction that he's thinking.
What we stand for. And right now we need a commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory
like Daddy
in this
Trump.
war.
Say it, buddy.
That's what we need in this country.
Mm-hmm. His speech is about 12 minutes.
You got to know you're in a war to win one. You can't win one if you're asleep at the switch, have your head stuck in the sand.
Oh, we're at war, are we? Oh, interesting. We're in a civil war, guys. Breaking.
Like most Republicans. And I think that's going to require...
Buy guns.
Somebody who isn't bought and paid for, a businessman, not a politician. Anybody heard of that?
Price.
And that's why I was in this race, but I'll tell you, the people of Iowa spoke loud and clear last night, and I'm a big believer that we, the people, create a government that is accountable to us, not the other way around. That we, the people, choose who leads this country. And so we heard, we, the people.
Unless my guy doesn't win, then it was a rigged election.
Last night, and that is why last evening I met my friend here. We met in person, and I that I would endorse Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, and do everything in my power.
This is terrible.
To lead us to victory in this war. It is a.
There's got to be a better feed than this. Is there anything better than this? Hold up. That's from Vivek's own channel. What the fuck is wrong with this, man? Vivek Ramaswamy, Donald Trump speech. Is this one? I don't think this is the same one. Laconia, New Hampshire. This is only 2 minutes long. I don't think this is the same one. Yeah, this goes way longer. I said 12 minutes. It's like 6 minutes or something. Here, what's this?
It's good to be back to New Hampshire. Commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory.
Okay, I think this is better.
This war.
Hopefully it's better.
That's what we need in this country.
Buy guns.
You got to know you're in a war to win one. You can't win one if you're asleep at the switch, have your head stuck in the sand like most Republicans. And I think that's going to require somebody who isn't bought and paid for, a businessman, not a politician. Anybody heard of that?
Do these, okay, something that I'm confused by is, do these people know that, like, the devil is often portrayed as a businessman who, like, makes deals with people? Like, what's going on here? Donald Trump has all the indicators, and then some, of the Antichrist. He was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He's a businessman. He makes deals with people. He would probably, like, sell his own soul for a ham sandwich. He probably already has, if I had to guess. You know, like, it doesn't make any sense. And also, I believe that, like, evangelicals did not like him initially because of all of that. He's like a Hollywood elite, you know? Like, how did he manage to convince so many people that he's like this common, average, everyday American who's just trying to make a good business deal? Like, it's silly. It's so silly.
And that's why I was in this
exactly,
race,
Karl Markey.
I'll tell you, the people of Iowa spoke loud and clear last night, and I'm a big believer that we, the people,
he's doing the Trump hand signals.
To us, not the other way around. That we, the people,
wait. What did he say?
Create a government that is accountable to us.
I thought he said bow to us.
That we, the people, choose who leads this country. And so we heard we, the people, last night, and that is why last evening I met my friend here. We met in person.
My friend
I told
here.
him that I would endorse Donald J. Trump for President of the United States and do everything in my power.
God damn. Donald Trump's loving this, man. Here, let me move. He's like soaking all of this in. He's just so happy whenever somebody talks good about him. It's almost cute.
To lead us to victory in this war. It is a 1776
friend. He said friend.
Right now. That's where we live right now. And you want to know, what does it mean to be a Republican today? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. Ideals like freedom.
Like owning slaves.
And merit and the pursuit of excellence. That you get
They also believe that abortion was okay. Can we do that? The founding fathers had no issue with abortion.
Head in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your...
Where did that come from? Martin Luther King Jr. is not a founding father. And also, like you guys, like, I cannot stand. So when I was on that Jubilee panel and one of the ladies said that, I just cannot stand when conservatives, I almost wish that Martin Luther King Jr. had never said that. I'm going to say it. I wish that he had never used those words because he couldn't have known it at the time, but that opened up the door for, after his death, conservatives to ragdoll his fucking corpse in front of liberals and try to pretend like they're the progressive ones, like they're the ones who are, fighting for the rights of black people all over the United States, right? By virtue of, taking away their fucking ballot boxes. Remember that? That fucking happened in Texas, okay? If they hadn't done that in Texas, Texas could very well go blue. It still could, because conservatives just suck that badly that they cheat and still lose. But they don't care about black people. They don't give a shit about anybody but their own self-interest. And sometimes they're fake God.
Contributions.
Sometimes.
And affirmative action. And DEI. We are done with the...
And by fake God, I don't want any Christians to think that I disrespect your religion. It's not about that. It's about their fake God. Specifically conservative politicians and pundits. Their fake God. Who thinks that trans people should all be killed. Okay? That's a fake God. If God does exist, there is no shot that he believes that. None at all. Or wants that.
Nonsense. Send it back home. It means you believe in the rule of law. And I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country.
There's another classic line. I don't give a shit where you come from, man. If you're so proud of the fact that your parents came here legally, like, why don't you also go through that process? You know what I mean? It's like, I was born in the United States, therefore I just get to live here. I don't have to take a citizenship test, and if I fail, they'll deport me. You know? And also, I don't know how well I would do on the citizenship test. I legitimately don't know how hard it is. And that's hardly the worst part about trying to immigrate here. You know, there's all kinds of red tape and legal shit that you have to go through in order just to get here. Why you would not want to make that process easier? Why you would not want to accept your fellow man into the warm embrace of your amazing nation, the melting pot of the world, right? It's just very anti-American. It is fundamentally anti-American to be against abortion. And I'll die on that hill. Did I say abortion? I meant immigration. Sorry. Bars got crossed.
Your first
although abortion too, for that matter.
Country cannot break the law, and that is why we need to use our military to secure our own southern border in this country. That's what it means to stand for the rule of law in the United States.
They fully endorse a war on Mexico, by the way. Like, they want to roll tanks into Mexico.
States of America. It means the people we elect to run the government needs to be the ones who actually run the government, not the shadow government in the deep state.
Here we go.
That
There's
runs
the
show
JQing.
Today. This man is going to get in there this time around and actually shut down that deep state. Not messing around this time anymore.
More, Mr.
That's how
Twump.
we win this war in this country. And the way we're actually going to do this in the long run and win this time around is with elections we need to secure in this country for the long run. You want to know what needs to happen in this country? Single day voting on election day as a national holiday with paper ballot.
Wait.
On election day as a national holiday.
Let's go. Finally, something I can get behind. Although I will say, when you scale that against everything else they want to do, it's like, no, no, actually, no. Because the other side of that coin, remember, is that they want to remove completely the ability to vote early or by mail. They want as few people voting as possible, and they've said so. There is at least one politician who has said so in a speech that I can never find. I know that Gremlo likes to pull it up a lot. If you guys know Gremlo on Twitch, but like they legitimately know this. They know that the more people vote, the worse it is for them.
With paper ballots, government-issued ID to match the voter file.
Also, I'm calling BS on making Election Day a national holiday. What they really mean by that is we slap a label on it called national holiday, but you still have to go to work, dumbass. There's no way that like that would ever be supported by their lobbyists.
And English as the sole language that appears on a ballot. And I'm
what? Why? Why? Ew, no, ew, why? Excuse you. Nobody said that English is the national language of the United States. Again, we're a melting pot. This is fundamentally anti-America. It's anti-human.
To get us there. And this is how
if you were serious, okay, if you really believed in your own cause, you should want that in as many different languages as possible. You should want it in fucking like tribal African languages. You know what I mean? Like you should want that thing covered top to bottom in text from all languages of all types for anybody to understand. You should be opening the floodgates to these ballot boxes. You should be wanting people to mail in like 3 months early. Like you should want these things if you are confident in your ability to win elections. These are things that you should want as an American as well. Like that's just an American thing, right? It's just to want people to be able to go vote, but they don't want that because they hate America. They hate you. Okay, they hate all of you, regardless of whether you're conservative or liberal or what. They hate you. They legitimately hate you.
How we get our country back. Not black
get
or
it back.
white. It's deeper than that. These are the ideals of the American Revolution.
There are white thugs in Chicago too. Not as many of them, but they're there.
And you know what? We do have some enemies that we need to defeat on the other side, but we have challenges to address in our own party right here at home.
I would agree with that. So you know what?
If you want somebody who's going to foist onto you to use your social media account, you want to use a driver's license to do it, to have the right to use the internet, this man's not your man. There's another candidate in this race who'll do that for you. It's Nikki Haley.
Wait, say that again.
The social media account, you want to use a driver's license to do it, to have the right to use the internet, this man's not your man. There's another candidate in this race who'll do that for you. It's Nikki Haley.
Okay, I don't know much about Nikki Haley's policies, but yeah, I do disagree that we should have to like use our fucking licenses to get on the internet. I'm glad they're at least not pushing that, but again, you stack it up against everything else, it's like it doesn't matter. Too many of your other rights are at stake.
You want to cut Social Security, you want to cut Medicare, you want to cut veterans benefits so we can fork over more money to Ukraine so some kleptocrat can buy a bigger house?
By the way, a lot of libertarians really love Nikki Haley now because of, again, I don't know much about her, but what I do know is that a lot of libertarians, I think, are loving her because she wants to like cut Medicaid and like welfare benefits and shit, which conservatives have known for decades that that's not in the cards. If you want to win, you cannot go after Social Security, not as a liberal, not as a conservative, not as a centrist, not as anybody. It is in place. And that's why conservatives are trying so hard to reclaim office, because their lobbyists, their lobbies know that if another progressive policy gets in place that gives huge social benefits, such as Social Security, like if there were Medicare for all, for example, we'd never put it back in the bag. Once it's out of the bag, nobody's going to want to put it back. And they don't want that. They've already let it happen once in our history. And if it happens again, a lot of these companies could see a lot of big losses. They won't go bankrupt or anything, of course. They're fucking gargantuan. But they don't want to lose, like, precious pennies. So they're not going to let it happen.
Vote for Nikki Haley, not this man right here. But
point being, they'll gesture at wanting to protect Social Security, but it's just a gesture.
You want to actually put an agenda that puts Americans first, to say that the moral obligation of your leaders is to the citizens of this country, not another one. There is not a better choice left in this race than this man right here, and that is why I am asking you to do the right thing as New Hampshire and to vote for Donald J. Trump as your next president. Because we're not working with a lot of time here.
The sad thing is, like, I can't think of another Republican politician who would do a better job than Trump. Like, I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure I'm just not educated enough, but, you know, I don't know.
If our kids are in high school before we get this right, we don't have a country left. That's what it means. We've been celebrating.
Wait, what he just said right there, if our kids are in high school before we get this right, we don't have a country left, that is fear-mongering against the schools. It was very well hidden, but I think that that was a jab at the fact that if like the high schools are wokeifying your kids and transing your kids. That's really scary rhetoric, guys.
Our diversity and our differences.
Here we go, yep.
For so long that we forgot all of the ways that we are the same as Americans, bound by that common set of ideals that set this country into motion.
Ideals like what? Like diversity? I'm just saying.
We believe those ideals still exist. This man is going to be your next president to revive them. E pluribus unum. From many, one. And you know how we're doing it? We're doing it by speaking the truth at every step of the way.
From many, one. So let's break that down. If that's the case, then why do you want to keep people from being able to vote via mail and early? Why? What happened to from many, we are one? Like, it sounds like from few, we are one against the many because we hate the many, is what it sounds like.
There are two genders in this country.
Oh, yeah, you always got to throw that in there, right? If it's so obvious, why do you keep saying it?
Period. That is the truth.
Like, if it's that obvious, if it's like that ingrained in humanity, that there's only two genders, that gender is a binary, why do we have to keep revisiting this? That doesn't make any sense. You keep saying, oh, it's only natural, it's two genders, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's not natural, clearly, because we have all these transgender people, we have all these intersex people, we have all these people of all these kinds of gender and sexual orientations and presentations and identifications and whatever else. We have so much diversity, and it's beautiful. I think it's cool. I think trans people are really neat. You know, I think it's really cool that there are so many different people who want to live their lives in different ways and have different ways of going about their lives and dressing in different ways and acting in different ways. I think that diversity is really, really cool. And I would hate for you to take that away. I would fucking hate that. So don't.
Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear energy.
Cool.
Reverse racism.
I agree to, you know, embrace nuclear energy. I like that. Oh, yeah, he's going to talk about reverse racism here. Cool.
Is racism. An open border is
Wait, what?
Not. Reverse racism is racism.
Oh, it sounded like he says isn't. Well, yeah, I mean, reverse racism does not exist on a systemic scale. Like, you can be individually racist to white people for the fact that they're white, but on a systemic scale, systemic racism is the problem against like minority groups like black people and brown people and Asian people and all that. Not as much Asians these days, I don't think, but I think specific Asian groups, because Asia is so fucking big and people tend to forget that, specific Asian populations do have it pretty rough still because of systemic racism. So, you know, like in as much as like, okay, when they talk about reverse racism, what are they talking about? Oh, I didn't get into Harvard. I didn't get into Harvard because of reverse racism. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Anyway, let me go back to the soup kitchen where like 70% of the people there are black, you know, because they can't afford shit. Like, what are you talking about, man? Stop. You're just whining.
An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear...
Okay. Sometimes you're just a bad fucking parent, you know? I am so tired of this idea that like parents have the final say so in anything that happens with their kid. And nobody believes this. Nobody. I know you don't. Even if you're here as a hate-watching conservative, you don't believe that. Because if a parent, you know, commits some kind of atrocious act against their child, you want that parent in jail. And also, I'll go even further and say that, you know, by saying parents should not be allowed to give their kids gender-affirming health care, you don't think that parents have the final say. So stop with that bullshit. That's bullshit. It is complete bullshit. All you want is to be able to control the medical decisions of other people. So stop being a coward and just say it. Stop being a pussy. Just stop being a pussy and just say it. That you just want to be able to control what people do with their bodies and their lives. Stop hiding behind children. Stop hiding behind parents. Stop hiding behind the idea that you're trying to do good things, because you know that you're not. You know that you're not, okay? You're not protecting kids. You're just taking rights away.
Family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind.
Stop with the bullshit.
Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government in the United States, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution...
What's the 4th supposed to be?
...is the strongest and greatest guarantor of freedom in human history.
I agree. And the founding fathers were very insistent that it should be amended as time goes on. But every time that somebody proposes a new amendment these days, you anti-American freaks want to push back and say, well, you don't deserve more rights. You don't deserve more rights. What are you talking about? All your rights are right here in the Constitution that the founding fathers said that we need to change sometimes, but we're not changing it because we already have all the rights that we need and you don't deserve any more. What are you talking about?
That is the truth. We fight for the truth. We stand up for the truth. That is what won us the American Revolution.
These fascists want the nuclear family to be the model of this. Oh, nuclear family. I thought you were talking about nuclear energy. That's why I stopped. Well, yeah, no, the nuclear family is a very recent development in history. It's complete bullshit that, like, that's always the way things have been. It's just fascist propaganda.
That is what reunited us after the Civil War.
What is?
Revolution. We stand up for the truth. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War. That is what won us.
We weren't reunited after the Civil War. Like, we kind of were, but it was kind of a shambling mess. Because there were still a lot of people that, like after they freed the slaves, they straight up were just like, okay, good luck, guys. Oh, but wait 1 minute. I know that you don't have any property, any money, anywhere to go, any food, any water, anything. I have it all, right? As the former owner of you. So why don't you come back and work for me, right? Just come back and work for me and live on my plantation. You know, it ain't so bad, right? Yeah.
2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream.
What dream?
Group identity and victimhood and grievance. Then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, is going to defeat us.
I got news for you guys. The majority of the American population never got to experience the American dream. Never. So it's not an American dream. It's a lie. You know, the cake is a lie. They've lied to you. I know that my audience knows this, but in case that you were just born yesterday, you've been lied to. There's no American dream anymore. You don't get to own a home. You hardly get to own video games anymore. Barely. You know, like, you don't own anything. We live in a renter's economy now. We're at the will and whim of our betters, who have way more money and way more power and influence than us, and we just have to sit back and take it. So there's no American dream. At least if conservatives keep getting their way. Now, we could start to get there if we, elect progressive candidates. I know that Joe Biden's not the best representative for us, but he is 1,000 times better than Trump. So, we could at least start there. And then if you want a third party in 2028, maybe start in 2024. To go back to the third party voting thing, the bullshit that people try to say is totally legit and definitely going to work this time. It'll work this time, bro, I swear.
That is what American exceptionalism is all about. That is what we are going to revive to, yes, make America great again. Vote for this man right here in the New Hampshire primary. God bless you and your families, and may God bless our United States of America. Thank you, New Hampshire.
Woo, that's right,
man.
buddy.
See you guys. We're coming back and winning this in a landslide.
I don't know who this Indian feller is, but he's speaking truth to power.
Will not stop until we get this job done. Thank you all. God bless you. And
he's one of the good ones right there. Oh, give him a little kiss. Give him a little kiss. Look at him. I would, oh God, what I wouldn't give to know what they said to each other. What I wouldn't give. Oh yeah, he's glazing real hard.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, that's enough, that's enough. So yeah, that's Vivek, rhymes with cake. Fully endorsing Donald Trump. He's out of the race, baby. He and Ron DeSantis both. Looks like all that's left is Nikki Haley running against Donald Trump. And I do want to cover Nikki Haley a little bit more in a different segment. But for right now, let's focus on Ramaswamy Lama Ding Dong. He I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. From the very beginning, he was going to, drop out and endorse Trump. This was all just a big publicity stunt for him. And he's trying to get in good with the party because he understood, he's very smart, okay? Make no mistake. Vivek Ramaswamy is very smart. He knows what he's doing. And he's setting himself up for either a 2028 run or a 2032 run. He's setting up for the future because he knows that Trump is the future of the Conservative Party. And if they win, then he is going to be the front runner in the next, I guess it would be pseudo election, because by then democracy will be dead. But he would be the next person to take the mantle, right? After Donald Trump dies after ruling for like the next 10 years or whatever. So, he's doing the smart move, I must say. Unlike Ron DeSantis, I got to give Vivek points for charisma, right? Much better than DeSanctimonious. But yeah, once again, this is just scary shit. I mean, you guys heard it here. This is all fascist rhetoric. So once again, 1, buy guns, 2, vote. Vote for Joe Biden. Meatball Ron. Yeah, the next puppet. The business interests stick their hand up their asses like like a puppet. The tan rubs off and Vivek's cheek is orange now. Really? Or are you just making a joke? They never actually touched. Yeah. Just making a joke. Having a laugh. Sorry, I gotta pee again. I've been drinking a lot today. Good stuff, water and stuff. So I'll be right back. Sorry. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm not giving you my 100 this stream. I'm doing my best, but I'm just so damn tired. I don't know why. It just hit me before stream started out of nowhere. So it might be a short one today. Okay, I want to do Matt Walsh, but I only want to do one Matt Walsh segment. So should we do Matt Walsh talking about Nikki Haley? Or should we do Matt Walsh talking about that black football coach? I shouldn't have said that. Said what? Love how this millionaire is telling his impoverished constituents that capitalism is a good thing. I think politics is a bit dry. Yeah, it is. You think it's super real and being super based all day wears you out? Well, thank you. Honestly, another thing that's been wearing me out is all the negativity. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've been doing a lot of debates, a lot of reacts, a lot of, like, just negative vibes here and there and everywhere. I have a good conversation here and there, but the theme lately has just been so, like, toxic or something. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that, like, my streams are toxic or that anything I'm doing is bad, but, like, all of this negative energy is really taking its toll on me. So I'm thinking about, I want to bring Tipster on at some point. I haven't asked him yet, but I want to ask him to come on at some point and just have a chat, so that I can, you know, put together a little bit of an interview for him, I guess, because I'd like to know more about him. Oh, do you guys remember who was here for the Swegta talk? Swegta is the guy who does bully videos. Like, when I say bully, I mean like the video game Bully and GTA videos. Because he wants to come on again, but I've been trying to reach out to him and he hasn't said nothing yet. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's the theme's been kind of negative lately. That's all. I don't like the energy. It's necessary sometimes, but I made a joke that went too far. Sorry, it was super uncool. Okay, no worries. We all have gamer moments. Yeah, politics is depressing, and then just also knowing that these people exist. You know? That it's even possible. Good stream, but I gotta watch a movie. Okay, you have a good night, Marksy. Thanks for being here. Football coach segment, and I'll hang around a little longer. Is that what you guys want? You want to talk about? I've seen enough people talking about that I think I'm actually gonna go over that. I'm already tired of electoralism. I find electoral politics to be so boring and, like, just not... Like, I already know all of this shit, you know? At this point, we're just waiting. But, like, I also don't want to ignore it, because what if something happens and I'm not there to see it, you know? A little FOMO. Alright, let's talk about the football coach. And, Marky, don't feel obligated to stay. Yeah, I know that you have your wife thing. So no more white names. Yeah, let's go. I messaged White Nervosa about the sound lagging. We're just going to have to deal with it for a little bit.
Wealth, fame, power.
Well, for those who... No more white names.
I do like the sound clip that I picked for it, though. I totally get that and agree. Yeah, I think we need to do some... Okay. Here's the problem. Everything that I've been doing lately has been for clicks. Not everything, but like 90% of it has been to, you know, increase numbers, which I've been doing a sick job of lately, okay? I've been doing really good. We're at 9.17k subscribers. That's pretty damn good. I didn't think I'd get here this quickly this year. I set my goal for 20,000, but when I set it, I didn't think I'd actually reach it. You know what I mean? So by the end of the year this year, I'd like to have 20,000, but it's starting to look like we might get that and then some. But like you can see here, I just uploaded this one today, 2.9K views, and that's not even counting the analytical views, which are usually higher at first. These all have, like, my past 10 videos, except for this one, my past 12 videos, except for this one, all have 1,000 or more views. Like, it's insane. Do you plan to have a party? Do you plan a party when you reach your goal? That wouldn't be a bad idea. Just like a little personal party. Ooh, you know what'd be fun? Ooh, if I reach 20,000 before the end of the year, I should organize another lefty streamer to get together. You guys probably don't remember, but I know Tina does because she was there. But me, Tina 2, Shark 300, Ray Vana, Xander Corvus, and then Guitar Rocker, who's my editor and Shark's editor, one of my editors. We were all there that weekend, like the weekend of the New Year's. I think it was a weekend. And it was really fun. And we did a little stream. And I set it up and it was, it worked, but it was a little bit, it was a little clunky, but it worked. And it was fun. I should do that again. Since October 7th, there's been a sea change. We're all so angry and feel so helpless most of the time. Working in medical field, it takes a little... Well, to be fair, my job's pretty laid back usually. But, even, like, it's still a job that I have to wake up and go to. So, I'm still tired by the end of it. Okay, let's do this thing. You guys may know of a character named Matt Walsh, part of the Alec Gunter extended universe. Matt Walsh here decided to talk about a new NFL coach, and apparently he was being pretty racist about it. So I just want to go over it for myself and see what's going on. Because, I personally I'd never say that Matt Walsh is racist or anything. It's certainly not. But, I'm always open to being proven wrong. So let's see what's going on here, man. What's up?
Well, for those who don't follow football, the NFL playoffs are currently underway. My Baltimore Ravens are playing on Saturday against the Houston Texans, and that's neither here nor there. I just want to mention it, because I'm excited about it. Much to my chagrin, nobody in the audience cares about football. You don't care about football, and you don't care about aliens. And those are like half of the things I care about.
Dude, he's such a nerd. He's like, oh, my audience doesn't care about the things that I care about. Oh, doo-boo-doo-boo. Oh, woo-boo-woo-boo-woo. Okay, dude.
And yet somehow we make this relationship work. I don't know how we do it, but we do. So anyway, for the teams who didn't make the playoffs.
That's parasocial as fuck, by the way. Our relationship. Okay.
It's been a bit of a bloodbath for coaches. Lots of
I'm being very uncharitable.
Fired, as always happens at the end of the regular season. The difference is that this time you got some legendary coaches that are getting the boot, including Bill Belichick from the New England Patriots. After 475 years as their head coach and after winning like 83 Super Bowls or whatever it was, he's now gone. And a few days ago, his replacement was announced. And the guy taking over is named Gerard Mayo. He's 37 years old. He's a former player. He has no head coaching experience. He has very little coaching experience in general. And he's the guy they're bringing in to take over the most successful, take over for the most successful NFL coach of all time. So we'll see how that works out. I'm guessing it will work out very poorly. Okay. That's my prediction. In fact, I'm even more sure.
By the way, I don't care about the NFL at all. It's not my thing. I used to play football. I know how the game works. I just don't give a shit about the players or the coaches or the names. Too many names. People were like, oh, what'd you think of the Bengals game last night? Like, they think I'm into it, right? Because I have that, like, football player build, I guess. This only happened like once or twice, but they'll ask me about like the game or whatever. And I'll just be like, I didn't see it, man. I don't know. Not sure. If you want to talk about One Piece, I got you covered, but football, not much of a weeb for that.
Or that it will work out poorly. After watching the introductory press conference for the new coach yesterday, Gerard Mayo, I guess we should mention now, is black. And that's a fact that shouldn't matter.
He takes off and washes his beard.
Especially in the NFL when like
It does look like he like takes it off at the end of the day. Give it a good scrub like a Lego character. That'd be really funny.
70% of everybody in the NFL at every level is black. But it does matter because it became, of course, a focal point during the press conference, which in turn made the press conference a subject of discussion on social media, with lots of people sharing their opinions about it. So first of all, just as context,
wait. I think I missed his point there. He was saying, okay, Gerard Mayo, I guess we should mention, shouldn't matter. Shouldn't even be. Okay, wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm going to go back. Sorry.
Now is black. And that's a fact that shouldn't matter and shouldn't even be notable, especially in the NFL when like 70% of everybody in the NFL at every level is black.
What's the demographic of the coaches and the owners of the teams? Here, let's check. Here. Football team owner demographics. Here we go. NFL offers up first NFL owner diversity report from March 28th of last year. Try again. These are the only two known owners. These are the only two owners of color in the NFL. Two of them. Let's see. Owning a pro sports team can be very lucrative, but they're also obscenely expensive to buy, fetching billions of dollars, something even most wealthy people can't afford single-handedly, according to Roth. So yeah, point is, here they are. Point is, you have one woman, how many women were there? 1, 2, 3. So like, mostly white men, okay? And I don't care, except that that indicates there's something going on here, because there should be a greater spread a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just interesting. It's just interesting, right? It's interesting. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Just asking questions.
But it does matter because it became, of course, a focal point during the press conference, which in turn made the press conference a subject of...
Okay, I don't know if the audio thing is going to play for this. So thank you very much, Big Room, for the Tier 1 subscription. Independent streamer. Let's go. Thank you very much.
Wealth,
appreciate you.
Fame, power.
Independent streamer.
Thanks, Streamlabs. Okay, this is why I like Stream Elements better. White Forest needs to use Stream Elements instead.
Discussion on social media, with lots of people sharing their opinions about it. So first of all, just as context, this is it may be worth noting that
there were two of them. Wokeness is taking over NFL. There's two owners who aren't white.
Explained in his opening remarks that after retiring from the Patriots as a player, he was first a player, now he's a coach, but as retiring as a player, he initially left football and went to go work in the financial field. And it was while working in finance that he learned a valuable lesson that will help him as an NFL coach.
Okay.
And here he is explaining that lesson.
By the way, before he gets into this, I want to say I was going back over my Matt Walsh thing because, you know, I enjoy revisiting it now and then. And I realized when he called me back, right, he said, well, you didn't answer. No, I said, you didn't answer my question. Why should I answer yours? And he says, well, I'm starting to get concerned. Where do you work, man? And he's like going like this and his hands like shaking while he does it. And I just realized, I think on a subconscious level, he was like, who is this guy? Where does he come from? What organization does he work with? Who planted him here? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's a little conceited of me, but I feel like that might have been part of that. Who's to say?
Break. I went to Optum. I needed a break from Bill. I went to Optum for about 4 years, and I came back. And one thing I came back with, I learned a lot at Optum. Larry Renfro, Mike Mateo, those guys. I learned a lot at Optum about diversity, right? About diversity and inclusion. And you better believe it, being the first black coach.
That's the new buzzword. You can't say diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, okay? That's bad. That's evil. That's ruining Western society.
Here in New England means a lot to me.
Sponsored by Gillette.
But those guys...
Righties are instantly triggered. Why Gillette? Do they have something against Gillette? Is it because Gillette said that it's fine to be gay? Is it because Gillette has like a gay owner or something? Like a gay billionaire Yas Queen owner? I don't know.
Taught me, you have to take ideas from other people. Black, white, green, yellow, it really doesn't matter. old.
Stop saying the green yellow thing. There's no green or like when you say yellow people, that's usually just a racist dog whistle to Asians, if anything. But there's no green people. Okay, nobody does photosynthesis. Stop saying that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just annoying.
Yes, this is an NFL head coach taking over for the greatest coaching legend in the history of the sport, explaining how he learned about the importance of diversity and inclusion while working in finance.
Yeah.
If you are a Patriots fan, it's hard to imagine a more discouraging thing to hear from the new head coach of your team. I mean, there are worse things,
Why?
I guess. He could have said that he learned about diversity and inclusion from, watching Dylan Mulvaney TikToks.
Or he could have said that he watches Matt Walsh.
I mean, they could have actually hired Dylan Mulvaney to coach the team. That would be worst of all. We're not quite there yet. We'll be there in a few years. So
Got to bring up Dylan Mulvaney every time. Dude, I'm convinced that he just has a thing for her, okay?
That's where we are now. But in any event, this comment about diversity and inclusion, I think, lends some context to what happened next. During the media questions, during that portion of the event, when they took questions, Mayo...
Remember the Gillette commercial? It's been a couple of years, but Gillette did a mildly trans-positive commercial a few years ago, and Gamergate types lost their shit. No, I don't remember that. I wasn't really a big part of Gamergate, I don't think. It might ring a bell if I saw it, but I'll take your word for it.
And the owner of the team, Robert Kraft, were asked, of course, about the significance of Mayo being a black head coach. And Robert Kraft gave...
Okay, I need to point out the irony of a black man whose name is Mayo. I'm sorry. It's just fun. It's ironic, okay, right? It's just ironic. That's all. It's funny.
Basically a good answer. He said that he hired the best man for the job, and that man just so happened to be black. He said that Mayo's color is not relevant to him. Like, he wasn't looking to hire a black man. He was just looking to hire the best guy, and this is the best guy. In his opinion, happens to be black. It doesn't matter. So that's the right answer. Like, that's the correct answer. That's a good answer.
Okay.
I don't know if it's true. I don't know if that's actually accurate.
I know that you think that he's not like a good okay, so here's the problem. Every time the conservatives tried to say that, like, oh, that person was just hired because they're black, they base that off of nothing. It's baseless, okay? White people make mistakes in these same fields all the time, and then some. They make probably worse mistakes, if I had to guess, because there's more white people typically in those fields that they like to point at, right? So by sheer coincidence, white people have probably made more mistakes, and worse mistakes than black people have. And every time that there's a minority hire, or like a woman sometimes, especially if you're talking about like sports and football and shit, every time there's a diversity hire, they're like, oh, they only hired that person because they're black. And then they have to look for things specifically to support that narrative. It can't just be like, oh, like it's never like they look at all the evidence, right? And they say, yes, according to all of this evidence, black coaches are actually worse at doing their jobs than white coaches. They lose more games. They do this. They do, like, they never actually look at this on a factual basis. And if any of that were true, it would be worth looking at. I think that'd be worth looking at and scrutinizing and saying, okay, why is this? Now, I wouldn't attribute it to something like inherent racist things like, oh, they're just genetically predisposed to be worse than white people in every way. But I would say, yeah, let's look at that and explore why that is, right? But that's simply not happening, and they have no evidence to show that it is, except for like a mistake here and there by like a pilot or a football coach or whatever else, a CEO making a bad investment, like here and there. When that happens all the time with people of all races, it's so disingenuous and gross. The Supreme Court judge is a good microcosm to demonstrate that. Oh, you mean Clarence Thomas? What do you mean? That they never like point at that guy and say, well, he was a diversity hire? I mean, who was he put in by? I don't even know. Like, he must have been put in by Lincoln or something. Isn't he like ancient? I don't know.
I'm not sure if they hired the best man for the job or if they were looking to make a diversity hire.
The recent black lady?
We do know the NFL does a whole hell of a lot to incentivize / force teams to at least consider quote unquote minority.
Well, okay, wait. Trump did put her in, right? Like, she's a, hold on. No, Trump put in Nikki Haley. Hold on. Who is this again? Sotomayor? No, Sotomayor is this one. Sorry, I'm being racist again. Who's she? I forget her name. The new one is Jackson. Oh, so Biden put her in. Right? Wait, hold on. I feel so stupid. I can't believe I'm asking this. Did Biden put in a new... Trump did Barrett, Kavanaugh, and Gorsuch? Hold on. Oh my God, I'm so... I can't believe I didn't know that. Let's just go back to this.
Candidates, and I have to say quote-unquote minority candidates, because again, in the context of the NFL, black...
See, this is the problem. I don't follow electoral politics like I was saying in the last segments, and that's a problem. Like, I need to know this shit.
Men are not the minority. So those are not minority candidates by any stretch of the imagination in the NFL. But anyway...
Right, so like, what is she doing? Okay, so back to that point, though. What is Jackson doing that they don't like? You know what I mean? Like, they never say that... I don't know.
That's the answer that he gave. And we have no reason to believe that it's not true. But Gerard Mayo himself...
Okay, but that's ascribing guilt. He's guilty before proven innocent, is what you're saying. You're like, well, we have no reason to believe that he was a diversity hire, but we also don't have any reason to believe that he wasn't. So who's to say, really? And it's like, you're not even giving the guy a chance, man. Jesus.
Had a different take. In fact...
And now that Mayo has said... He said the magic words, right? Or the curse words, I should say. He said, I learned a lot about diversity and inclusion in my time wherever it was. So now they're going to be looking for every single mistake. They're going to be scrutinizing every single mistake that he makes up until the day that he retires and saying that he was a diversity hire.
In his answer, he kind of rebuked indirectly the owner who was sitting right next to him. And he said this.
Okay.
I do see color because I believe if you don't see color, you can't see racism.
True.
And whatever happens, black, white, disabled person, I've always, even someone with disabilities, I always, for the most part, people are like, when they're young, they kind of make the spot hot. Younger people know what that means. But what I would say is, no, I want you to be able to go up to those people and really understand those people. So it goes back to whatever
those
it is,
people,
black, white, yellow,
that's a dog.
It really doesn't matter, but it does matter so we can try to fix a problem that we all know we have.
Okay, now, as I said, that clip went viral and lots of people...
What was wrong with what was wrong with what he said?
And those people. So it goes back to whatever it is, black, white, yellow, it really doesn't matter, but it does matter so we can try to fix a problem.
Yeah, no, he could have been a little bit more eloquent, I guess. But what he's saying is, okay, so on one level, it doesn't matter. In a vacuum, it doesn't matter what color you are. You have just as much opportunity and potential as everyone else in a vacuum, right? Doesn't matter what your skin color is. But in terms of our current state of the world, it does matter. It very much matters, because if you don't see color, you can't recognize the oppression that colored people, sorry, that's an antiquated term, that black people, white people, people of color have been through. Sorry, I know that was a bad word. I shouldn't have said that. My bad. So, people of color. So, like when you, I lost my train of thought because I said the no word. But in a vacuum, we all have the same opportunity. But as a result of historical happenings, some people don't, okay? Specifically people of color. And so that we have to recognize that and make amends, you know? We have to make we have to make things, we have to do, gather your thoughts, Alec. We have to do things the other direction than we did before. That's my point.
We all know we have.
Okay, now, as I said, that clip went viral, and lots of people did not like Mayo's statement that he does see color. Like, that's the thing people are kind of focusing in on, is that he said that he does see color. But that's not the problem here. Okay, that is not the issue with what he said. Of course he sees color. We all do. Like, we all notice the races of the people that we are interacting with. Saying that you don't see color it's nonsensical. It's like saying you don't see height. Well, I don't see height. I don't even notice it. Like, of course you notice it. If somebody's short, you notice it. If somebody's tall, you notice it. Of course you do. In fact, every time you look at someone, you notice these facts about them. There's nothing wrong with that. I get it.
We all see color.
We don't have to pretend and should not pretend that we don't notice other people's races. It's completely silly. So That part is fine. The rest is the problem. Because first, the reason why he says he sees color is
I thought it was good.
Well, if the reason had been, well, I do see color because I have eyes, and it's a fact about someone that I can see, and so I do see color. If he had said that, then that would be fine. But instead, he says that he sees colors.
Instead, he's actually tackling the root of the fucking problem when people say, I don't see color. He's addressing that side of the argument. So now I'm mad because he's discrediting people who say that because it's a bullshit statement to say.
So that he can stop racism. Well, it's 2024, and a lot of us are trying to...
it's a little bit simplified, but sure.
Get our finances in order. There's some great news for homeowners.
So wait, he said that he's upset because he said that he wants to stop racism. He legitimately just said that.
Credit card costs and terms. So this guy is, according to him, constantly on the lookout for racism. Even though as a black NFL player turned coach who was 37 years old.
You should get sponsor block? I didn't know that was a thing. I'll look into it.
And has been a star athlete all his life. He is unlikely to have ever encountered very much racism. Okay. And in fact,
I don't know about that. There's racism at every level. I don't think that he would have encountered like the amount of racism that somebody like, you know, living in the ghetto in Chicago would have encountered, I guess, right? Like, I don't know, like inner city, whatever you want to call it. You know, there are areas and things that in career paths where people experience it a lot more. I agree with that part, but he still experienced it, I'm sure. You know?
It's like almost all but guaranteed that I have encountered more racism than he has.
How could you possibly say that? What are you talking about? How does that make any sense? Let's let him explain.
In fact, that's like
Go
definite.
Is it definite? Is it?
And in the context of
what racism
being
have you
an NFL
encountered?
player, like as an NFL player.
Oh, we're just gonna leave that hanging. Cool. Okay. Yeah. No. Just I'm gonna take your word for it, buddy. Exactly. Sure. Yeah. Sure.
And now, coach, you're not encountering any racism at all, ever. Like he's just.
That's just not true, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to go out here on a limb for fucking football coaches. I'm sure they are very well off. But just being well off or rich or whatever doesn't mean you don't encounter racism. Oprah Winfrey, a person that I'm not very fond of, by the way. I don't like her. But she experiences racism probably on a fucking daily basis just from her, like, email inbox alone. Like, how many people do you think have told Oprah to kill herself because she's black? You know what I mean? Like, black and famous and popular. You know, like let's be real here. Just because you're rich doesn't mean you don't experience racism. Again, I don't give a shit. I don't give as much of a shit about Oprah Winfrey and the tribulations that she's experienced as a result of being a strong, independent black business owner, whatever. That's not my point. My point is being black in America comes with racist consequences, regardless of your socioeconomic circumstances. It's just a fact.
It just doesn't exist there. Yet he's constantly on the lookout for it, he says. And
yeah, and he's literally, that's funny because he literally is currently encountering racism. Good point, Theodore.
What it means to value diversity and inclusion, after all. I mean, that's what it means. He said he values diversity and inclusion, and now he's explaining what that means. And this is what they taught him in finance. Instead of teaching him, you know, finance.
Part of finance is diversity and inclusion. That is a part of like any field that you go into, because in finance, you have to deal with people. And anytime you have to deal with people, you have to deal with a diversity, you might say, of people, right? A diverse population. There's a lot of different people with a lot of diverse traits. It's going to be a part of any career field, any.
Also, just the idea that there's anything significant at all about hiring a black coach is, of course, absurd. Again, 70% of the NFL is black or more. There are many black coaches. There are plenty of black head coaches in the history of the league and today. Now, there are fewer black head coaches by proportion, which, who cares?
By the way, he wasn't even speaking like he's a, when did he ever even say that he personally encountered racism? Is that a thing that he said? I forget.
I do see color because I believe if you don't see color, you can't see racism. And whatever happens, black, white, disabled person, I've always, even someone with disabilities, I always...
I mean, this sounds like a very white liberal thing, right? Like, this doesn't strike me as a black person who's, like, virtue signaling about how they're black and they've gone through all these struggles. Like, he's not doing that. But Matt Walsh is acting like he is. I forget where we were.
Instead of teaching him, you know, finance.
Here we go. That's fine.
Also, just the idea that there's anything significant at all about hiring a black coach is, of course, absurd. Again, 70% of the NFL is black.
I don't think anybody was making reference to the fact that he's black. I think the entire, like they're now being racist against him because he happens to be black, but nothing that he said referenced his own blackness. It's just diversity and inclusion stuff. It's like some corporate bullshit, sure, but it's not wrong, you know?
Or more, there are many
just
black
liberal
coaches.
Pandering.
There are plenty of black head coaches in the history of the league and today.
At worst.
Now, there are fewer black head coaches by proportion, which, who cares? Just like there's fewer white people by proportion in pretty much every other position in the NFL or on the sidelines. But how do you end up?
Yeah, gee, I wonder why that is. It's almost as though, if we're going by Matt Walsh's logic, white people are just physically inferior, which is something that many fascists believe, by the way. They do believe that, like, black people are physically superior to white people. And that's why they have, like, in their minds, I should say, you know, like bigger dicks and whatever. And they're the basketball players and they're the football players. When in reality, those are typically the avenues. And it's that exact brand of racism for why we have that unequal divide in the first place. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. It just so happens that we, you know, pay athletes well now and treat them well now because they had very good union efforts, okay? Otherwise, we'd still pay them dog shit. We'd still treat them like dog shit. You know? That didn't happen magically. Black people being more prevalent in pro sports is a direct result of systemic racism.
With more white head coaches than black, well, it's because a black person who is involved at football and interested in football at that level is just more likely to get into the business as a player.
Yeah, why is that?
And like going back,
why? Let's explore that.
Going back through childhood, if you have a black child who's very interested in football, it's the proportions tell us it's more likely that they're going to get involved as a player. Whereas,
yeah, so let's break that down. Let's figure out why. You know, like if you want more like white player representation in football, then like let's talk about why that is the case in the first place. You know, it's not just like by magic. What he's implying is that black people have like a natural proclivity for athletics. You know, this is the same bullshit. Nobody ever complains about there being so many black people in the NFL. Nobody complains about that. And to the extent that they do, they only, like my dad's complained about like dreadlocks coming out of football helmets and shit, which is super racist. But like he's complained about that. But beyond that, I barely hear conservatives bitching and moaning about how many black people there are in the NFL or the NBA because they think that's their place. They think they belong there. So they never bitch about it, right? Like again, it's just racism.
As with if you have a white kid, now there's plenty of white kids that play football, but
poor people who have little hope for a higher education see sports as a way out of poverty. My fiance currently teaches a large population of black children. And when she asks them what they want to do when they get older, guess what they say? You got the YouTuber here, the Fortniter there, but most of them say, I'm going to be some form of athlete. I'm going to be a pro basketball player, a pro football player, or this or that. You know, usually those are the two. And it's simply not in the cards for most of these kids, even though there's a higher percentage of kids who are black and who will go on to become those types of people. That is only a consequence of the fact that that's the only avenue that they see as possible. You know, like they don't see themselves being scientists. They don't see themselves being doctors because it's been reinforced into them by both their immediate surroundings and by broader society that it's simply not in the cards for them. That's a white thing to do. You know, leave the smart jobs to the white people. You know, and so it's sad. It's really sad because most of those kids who are vying for athletic positions are simply not going to get them. They're just not there. There's not enough.
Go up and up and up. It becomes a less and less white sport, shall we say. And so for white people, if they want to remain involved in the sport at that level, they're more likely to do it on the sidelines. Like that's the way it works out.
Interesting. Oh, that's just how it is, right? We just accept that as our reality. No need to dig into the broader consequences and how that came about as a, you know, and what that means as a society. No. Forget all that. That's all liberal woke bullshit. No. This is just the way that it is. This is the way that it is. Okay. Just accept it.
And, you know, both groups are making millions of dollars. Both are doing fine, whether they're players or coaches. So we don't have to worry about either one of them. And there's no racism involved here. But the greater issue, I think, is just the idea that we need this guy to pontificate about racial issues in the first place. I mean, listen to what he said. Listen to what he actually said. So I took the liberty of transcribing it.
Transcribing it?
And here's what he actually said.
Wait. What he actually... Okay. I mean, what he actually said is what he actually said, but sure.
Quote, whatever happens, black, white, disabled person, I've always, even somebody with disabilities, I always, for the most part, people are like,
okay, he is reading,
you know, when you're young, they kind of make the spot hot. Younger people know what that means. But what I would say is like, no, I want you to be able to go up to these people and really understand these people. So it goes back to whatever it is, black, white, yellow, it really doesn't matter, but it does matter. So we can.
It was just like super surface level corporate speak. There was nothing infuriating about it. The entire purpose of speech like that is to not be inflammatory. He said nothing in the most eloquent way possible. Like, there's nothing here. It's not worth dissecting. It's not that deep.
We can try to fix the problem that we all know we have. Now, I'm not trying to be funny here. I have no idea what any of that means. Okay, there's not one coherent thought in that whole jumble. It's just babbling nonsense.
I sort of agree with him on that. Like, I sort of agree that that was just corporate nonsense. So why are we so upset? Why are we so mad at him? Like, if he didn't say anything, then why are you so upset?
Doesn't mean anything. We understand the basic gist that he's trying to articulate some anti-racism thing because he starts off by saying, I do see color, we got to spot racism. Like that part. And so that we can guess that the rest of it is trying to elaborate on that point, but it doesn't actually make any sense.
He's a little confused, but he got the spirit.
You know, if I were to read you that transcript and without any context, you would honestly, again, not trying to be funny, you would honestly assume that I'm reading a transcript from somebody who was having a stroke. Or you would think it was a Joe Biden speech.
No, it's just some dude who was like, dude, was he a football player? Like, was he an actual football player? What's his name? NFL coach Mayo. Jared Mayo. Biography. Drafted by the Patriots. So he is a former player. This man has so many concussions that I'm surprised he can even string together a full sentence. Like, if we're using Occam's razor, that's more likely the reason why he can't really piece all this together.
Which is basically the same thing. Now, here's the point. I don't blame Gerard Mayo for that. He's a football coach. He was a player before that. And for all I know, he'll be a great football coach. Again, I'm skeptical of hiring somebody with such little experience to replace especially the most legendary NFL coach of all time. But he could end up being, plenty of coaches that have been hired at that age and end up being great coaches. So it could be a great coach.
You don't see it happening because of the shit that he said about diversity and inclusion, which has nothing to do with his actual ability as a football coach. Like, again, if you want my opinion, I just think that his strategizing is going to be shot by the fact that he was a football player himself and his brain don't work so good no more. You know, like, I probably have sustained a couple of concussions as well that went undiagnosed just from my high school career. Imagine being a fucking NFL player where they're all 2 times the size, 2 times the speed, and the game is just way faster paced and the impact is way harder on you. And people die much younger when they're football players because of all that. They get Alzheimer's at the age of like 40 and shit. So like that would be my first go-to. It wouldn't be like this diversity inclusion bullshit, which would be why. Like it doesn't indicate his coaching abilities.
He knows plenty about football. He knows a lot more than I do about it. But he's not a social commentator. Okay, he's not a philosopher. That's what we don't need. Anytime you got any of these people in sports, like with very rare exception, most of the time you got these people in sports, they're asked some question at a press conference. Tell us about the significance of the racial this and that. What they have to say is, if you can even understand what they're trying to say, it's like the dumbest thing you've ever heard. Because this is not what these people, this is not their job, right? And this is not, they live their lives obsessed with football. This is all they think about is football, which makes a lot of sense if you're in the football business. But we don't need these guys to give us sermons. And in fact, it would just be better if they didn't. It really would be.
Well, all he's saying is you can't have opinions. Like, even if you can't express them very well. The Adventure Time Penguin is the cooler Gunter. Okay, that's fine. But like, even if they can't express them very well, like, people still have a right to give their opinion. Like, I don't know. A lot of this just seemed to be stemmed from the fact that he doesn't understand the racial dynamics of sports and the fact that he's just blatantly racist. So there's that. I don't think this would have made news if the guy hadn't been black. Like, I don't know. It just, like, it's just racism. That's all it is. Sorry, I don't have more to say about it. You're cool, just not penguin cool? That's fine. Penguins are awesome. Ah, man, I'm thinking about ending, but I kind of do want to go over that, that other video. Why do I keep having to pee? I gotta pee so much tonight. I'm sorry, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'll be honest. I don't think that last segment was very good. I just feel like my commentary tonight is not that great. I'm doing my best, but I'm hanging on by a thread. I really want to cover this other one, because it's more my style. But I just feel like that last one I was very, like, lacking. Sorry about not having the site. Drips on point, thank you. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. Last one for the night, and then I gotta stop because I feel like I'm not giving it my 100 tonight. Like I am, but my body's just not. My brain is not. I have a playlist recapping things Trump did when he was president and even some things he said even after leaving. Cool. Thank you. I am pissing out all of my energy. That's true. I mean, I didn't even lift that much, really. Like, I meant to lift more. When I lifted today, I did 10 minutes of elliptical. I usually do 10 minutes of warm-up. And then I stretched. And then I did one warm-up set of squats. And then Katie texted me and was like, hey, can I still use your car today? I was like, oh, shit. I forgot I told her she could use my car. So I had to go home. So I didn't even do that much. I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is. My energy's just not doing good. That's all. Take care of those kidneys, brother. Thank you. My entire workout is like 10 minutes. It's fine. You should go for like 20 to 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. Thank you so much, Saki Taneki. Sorry the gifties are being weird right now. But it'll go on in a sec. Thank you for 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Thank you.
Wealth, fame, power.
Ron Little DeSantis must feel like Barbie after she went to the real world and the heels effect wore off.
Ron DeSantis. Wealth, fame, power. Thank you again. Should I be doing less cardio before lifting? I do an hour of cardio every day. It depends on your goals. Like if your goals are to get more jacked, then you should do the lifting first and then do the cardio after. Right now, I'm trying to lose weight, and I'm doing a pretty good job, by the way. I was at my heaviest at 252, but I'm down to about 240. And I look a lot better than I did. Okay. Let's start the segment. Let's do this, and then I'm done. One more, and I'm done. I got one more in me. I am very tired. But, that being the case, I am still committed to covering this last thing. Because I just got done with 3 politics segments that really didn't spark my interest that much. Even the one with Matt Walsh really was not that interesting to me. And I got one more that is a little bit more in my ball field. My ballpark. Okay? Little bit more, okay? Just I got a little bit more in me. So we're gonna watch this thing from the Offensive T-Slur. Who, if you don't know who he is, he's basically just a grifter a la Blair White and all them, you know. He's a trans person who says that other people are not allowed to have the same rights that he has. So this video is called "He Rejected Me for Being Trans," reacting to crazy QIA plus meltdown. And if for those who don't know, QIA plus, whenever they like separate that from LGBT, well, usually they say T, like LGB without the T, but I guess since this person's trans, he can't do that, right? Wink, wink.
Wealth, fame, power.
Well,
let's see what this meltdown's all about.
If your goal is to get more jacked, shouldn't your goal be to be more confident in social spaces? Could lead to jacking.
That's pretty true. That's a good point. Anyway, let's get started.
This person from Argentina allegedly
Thank you again. Sorry. Thank you very much, Sakatinuki, for another 5 Tier 1 gifted subs. You've been very kind today. Thank you.
By a man because she's trans. She got a little bit upset, so let's watch.
Hold on, what happened?
This person from Argentina allegedly got rejected by a man because she's trans. She got a little bit upset, so let's watch.
So as per usual, I just want to give my 2 cents on this whole situation before we get started. Nobody's obligated to be in a relationship with you for whatever reason that they so desire. If somebody doesn't want to be with you specifically because you are a trans person, first of all, that person's an asshole. Second of all, they have the right to do that. Okay? Now, if it's for some other tangential reason, such as I'm not into penises or vaginas or whatever, or I want a partner that can help, that I can get pregnant, or that will be able to impregnate me so that we can have our own kids, I don't really care about that very much. You know, it's okay to have genital preferences. It's okay to have voice preferences and facial preferences. Like this is all fine. This is all good and fine. What's not okay is when you specifically say, I would never date a trans person, never date a trans person. I would never date a trans person. Because where is that coming from? It's not coming from a place of, well, these are actually my preferences. It's coming from a place of, I don't like trans people. I think they're icky. It's very important how this is phrased and how we go about saying that, like, as a result of the fact that you are a woman who is trans, you can't reproduce, or you can't do this or that, or you don't have, like, the thing that I'm attracted to. That's fine, okay? That's fine. And it's usually a result of being trans, which is unfortunate, but that's just life, right? You know, you can have a mole down there and somebody finds that off-putting, you know? All kinds of things can be wrong. But what I don't like is when, you know, out of nowhere, these people are just like, oh, I would never date a trans person. Ew. Oh, you think that I would date a trans person? I'm not gay like you, dumbass, you sicko. Oh, you want to date a trans? Like, no, that's silly. And also, a trans person would never date you. Nobody ever asks, would a trans person date me? You know, we always ask, would you date a trans person? Well, would a trans person date you? Probably not. And also, even if somebody does reject you, like if you're a trans person and somebody rejects you because of whatever that I said, right? Acceptable reasons, it can still crush you. I mean, think about it. Guys literally kill people. Cis guys kill people over getting rejected. Like, let's not pretend that this is a trans problem. Really think about this. Cis guys who get rejected are far more likely to actually bodily harm you than a trans woman is. Like, let's be real. This is cringe, maybe, at worst, but she's not killing anybody or stalking, right? Unlike cis dudes who can't take no for an answer. Like, let's be real for a second. So he's just bullying her, really. Probably. Okay, it's not in English, so hold on. He had to go out of his way to find a non-English speaker, by the way. I tried to calm down with half an hour, but I just can't. I can't, no. I had an appointment with a boy at 10 o'clock. It's already 10:15. It has been unanswered since 16 p.m. And all this, hold on. For those who don't know, that's military time. It's 4 p.m. And all this comes from being a trans girl. What's my fault for being a trans girl? I did not choose to be a trans girl, okay? Why do I have this fucking problem with every guy that I tell that I'm trans?
It is true that...
Yeah, that sucks. That's awful. What's wrong with that video? What's wrong with that video?
You cannot help dealing with gender dysphoria, but what you can control is how you tell men you want to date that you're trans. Of course, if men are not attracted to trans women, it doesn't matter how you tell them, but in order to avoid being rejected, you have to, from the beginning, be open and honest about being trans.
No, you don't. That's bullshit. I don't have to be open and honest about my dick size every time I go out and date a girl. That's disgusting. You wouldn't hold any other person to that standard. It's because you live in a cishet society and you're a cuck to them. That's why. You're gender pilled. You are a gender slave.
then you'll only attract the men who are into trans women. What you need to understand, if you don't already, is...
Okay. You don't want to attract somebody who is specifically looking for a trans person to date. I promise you. Unless they themselves are trans, which even then it can be a little weird. But I'm not discounting that you can have a trans chaser. But what I am saying is that if a trans person is looking specifically for another trans person to date, usually where that comes from is where that woman was. Where it's like every single time I tell a cis guy that like I'm trans, they reject me. So why not just go after trans guys instead, right? Or trans women even. Why not just do that instead and save myself the heartache and the pain? That's understandable. But like, sorry, where was my point? Fuck, I lost my point.
The men who are into trans women, what do you need to understand if you don't...
Chasers. So like if you're being pursued by a guy who literally only wants to date trans people, you're being pursued by a chaser, my friend. Okay? Now, if you encounter somebody who has a higher, for lack of better ways to put it, body count with trans people, just by coincidence or by the fact that, it's okay to prefer trans people. I'm not saying that it's not okay to prefer trans people. Just don't be weird about it, right? Like if you like people who are women with dicks, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't be a weirdo.
Already is men who don't want to sleep with you generally do not have anything against trans women. They just don't want to date them, sleep with them.
Okay, but even if that's the case, this is still a proper reaction because again, it's just rejection. Rejection sucks. People cry over rejection. Cis dudes literally kill people over rejection. So spare me the bullshit. I just don't get it. I don't get it. What do I have? What do I have? Yeah.
I think that's your answer. Straight men are not into eggplants.
Wait, what's...
A piece. I think that's your answer.
Did he say?
A piece.
I peaked? Is that what he said? I peaked?
I think that's your answer. Straight men are not into eggplants.
Are not into what?
I think that's your answer. Straight men are not into eggplants.
A penis? He said a penis? Well, yeah, that's genital preference. Yeah, most straight guys are not going to be into you if you have a penis. It's just a consequence of being trans. It's a very unfortunate one, and it's heavily rooted in both misogyny and transphobia, but it's where we're at, and I'm sorry that trans people have to go through that. It's a very, very difficult struggle, and assholes like this shouldn't be shitting on other people for struggling with it. Eggplants. He already knew I was trans, and today we happened to be meeting at 10 o'clock. So wait, he already knew that you were trans? And he already knew that, but he kept sending me hints, and I kept telling him. But boy, I don't have the confidence with you to tell you. Why do I have to tell you? Oh, okay, so the guy guessed at it. The guy guessed that he was trans and still tried to meet up with... Well, if you're already guessing that she's trans, if you're already transvestigating her, I feel like meeting up for a date is just adding insult to injury at that point. At that point, you're just being a piece of shit. You have to meet with her to find out for sure whether or not she's trans. That's disgusting. Fuck off. I mean, I don't have to walk down the street saying, hello, I'm Lucy and I'm trans. That's true. I'm with this woman. Why do you want me to say that? No, wait. Yeah. Why do you... I'm assuming she means, why do you want me to say that? This is the first time this has happened to me.
I'm a little bit confused
I'm assuming she was saying it will be the last time.
What she means. I don't know what hints she's talking about, and I don't know what she kept telling him.
Wait, I figured it out. Well, I don't know like what she was telling him, but like he kept sending hints that he knew. And then I'm assuming that she was sending like... it just sounds like a weird exchange. I'd have to look at it.
But if she's really asking, why do I have to tell him? Girl, you gotta be kidding me. I speak from personal...
What do you mean you gotta be... Don't be a cuck. Don't be a cuck. Shut up. I don't tell people my dick size when I start dating them. Hey, by the way, I have a 6-incher. Just so you know, I have the full 6 inches, right? Do you? I mean, do you tell people, like, what, you just sat down and you're just like, hey, I'm a trans man, by the way. Like, if you're trying to lay somebody, sure, but that's not a necessity. Again, what if I just have a mole by my dick? Do I have to disclose that too? Like, I don't need to prove anything to you. Whatever's underneath my clothes is my fucking business until I decide otherwise.
Experience. I always try to be as open as possible. People I talk to in real life are always too shy to ask me any questions. So when asking me just one question...
I'll ask you all the fucking questions you want, buddy. I will ask as many questions as you can handle, and more.
I also answer questions I know they have in their heads, and they're always super relieved.
You're not gonna like the questions I ask,
though. I didn't know if it was too offensive, and I'm like, you can't offend me. And I want to
I can think of a few ways to offend you. Hey, buddy, you're a fucking grifter, and you'll be sent to the same camps as the rest of the trans people.
Clarify that I do have boundaries. I always say to people, you can ask me any questions except I think I got like 2 questions that I don't want to answer, and that's it. Being honest and open as a trans person from the beginning when interacting with someone, especially a potential partner.
See, but he's insinuating that she wasn't open and honest with him. That's so gross. You don't know that. You don't know that. Keeping information from people that you just met is normal and expected. What are you talking about? You're a freak, man.
In my opinion, the best thing that you can do.
And not for the reasons that your conservative pals think you're a freak, by the way.
And will make the interaction, the relationship, the possible relationship, a whole lot better. It would be weird if he kept asking you, are you trans, are you trans, are you trans? And you kept answering, yes, yes, yes. But was that the case? Maybe he kept asking.
If he was asking, hey, are you trans? I'm blocking, by the way. Like, I'm just straight up block. Like, if I had a woman saying, hey, by the way, are you a trans dude? I'd be like, that's weird. Why would you ask that? Like, why does that matter? So what if I am? And then if her response is, well, I just only date dudes with dicks. Okay. You don't get to know that yet. How about we have a date before you start asking about whether my dick is there? Gross.
Because you weren't answering him properly. And I think that's totally fair.
Ew, it's victim blaming. Well, she's not a victim, by the way, at least not that I can tell, except of just broader societal trends. But like, it's the same mentality as victim blaming. She's clearly having an episode here, and he's making it out as though it's completely her fault. You want to say that this is the first time this has happened to me, and it will be the last, okay? I can't. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me, what's wrong with me. Oh, I don't want him to be like that, and I don't want to be like that. I am just another woman in the world.
You're just another woman. No.
Yes. Yes. Just another woman. A trans woman.
No, you're not. Are you okay? And I'm actually...
Are you? Like...
being serious. If you actually told yourself that it's okay not to be...
I hate everything about his demeanor, by the way. This is so fucking condescending and what is it? Concern trolling is what he's doing. He's concern trolling. He's like, I'm just concerned for you and your well-being, Sweaty. I just want to make sure that you're okay. But also, make sure that you tell everybody the exact dimensions of your genitalia. Pre or post-op, doesn't matter. Just make sure that you give them the ball size and how much you come and all that. You know, just write it all down and give them the list. But also, sweetie, I'm just trying to help you. Fuck off! Fuck off! Gross.
Be a real woman, it's actually okay
Gross.
To be a trans woman. You most likely wouldn't cry like this. Imagine all the pain
what did he
you can
just
avoid.
say? What the fuck did you just say, man?
It's okay not to be a real woman. It's actually okay to be a trans woman. You most likely wouldn't cry like this.
Fuck you, man. Ew, gross. Ew. Who the fuck put you on the planet, man? It wasn't God if God's all good and all loving. Fuck you. Fuck you. Ew.
Imagine all the pain you can avoid feeling if you just accepted or tried to accept what you are. Listen, it's a process. It took me a while. But today I do accept myself for being a gender dysphoric female, living life as a man. Because
as a cuck. No, you're not a man. Shut the fuck up. You don't get to put yourself in the same category as me. Get the fuck out of here. I know trans men who are way better men than you. Shut up. Get out.
I cannot change the
cashed
truth,
you out.
but I can change how I feel about the truth. And so can you.
I would say that about a cis man too, by the way, and I have. All right, I don't accept men who are cucks. If you're like a literal cuck and that's your fetish, that's fine. I'm not getting on you, you gross, disgusting cuck. You, I know you like that. You, okay, I know you, but if you're like a political or ideological cuck like this bastard, I refuse to accept you. I refuse. You get relegated to the same category as fucking like Matt Walsh. Okay, no, you're a beta male at best. I don't understand what the fuck is going on in his head. I don't want a girl who used to be a guy. Excuse me, but you're looking at me. Keep your dick out of it. True. No, a lot of them, it's literally just the thought of you having once been a person with a penis or a person that identified as a man is enough for them to say, nah, not for me. And then they pussy out. And it sucks. It sucks because, you know, there are trans women who will give you the ride of your life. And even possibly you'll fall in love with them and make a life with them. Who knows? Okay, I know Neko Suris met somebody that he didn't know was trans at first. And then it turned out she was. And nothing changed. He fucking married her. All right, Neko Suris is a G for that. All right, and honestly, I say that, but that's only because the bar is so fucking low that even just treating trans people respectfully makes you a good person. Like, people act like I'm this based motherfucker, and all I'm doing is being normal. All I'm doing is saying that trans people deserve the same fucking rights and respect as the rest of us. And I know you're gonna say, "Oh, the respects are not given." No, that's bullshit. Everybody gets a base level of respect, except for trans people for some reason. They have to earn it, right? They have to earn that base level of respect that all the rest of us just get by default. Why? Why? I look at that and I say, no. Gross. Get that out of here. Disgusting. Dubious food.
Are you kidding me? Keep your eggplant out of this? Are you actually kidding me? Then what's the point of dating? We would all understand you if you just wanted to be his friend. And he
So why does he keep saying eggplant? Come on, be a man. Say dick. Say dick. It's not going to hurt you.
Rejected you for being trans. That's kind of an a-hole move, but even in that situation...
By the way, even he doesn't think he's a full man, okay? So I'm not being transphobic by saying he's not a man, because he says it himself. He's like, I identify as a man who was born... Shut up!
And he doesn't owe you
Get out of my face.
You know what? He's actually keeping his eggplant out of this by rejecting you and not going on a date with you or
debase yourself
whatever.
Like that?
He is keeping his eggplant out of this in hopes that you will do the same. Why is it so hard for you to comprehend that he doesn't want to date you? I can't tell if it's due to you.
Yeah, everybody looks at him and thinks, yeah, that is a female who identifies as a man, right? Right? I'm sure that happens.
A narcissist, or if you're innocent and the trans community have been lying to tell. Why is it so hard for you to comprehend that he doesn't want to date you? I can't tell if it's due to you being a narcissist, or if you're innocent and the trans community have been lying to you all the time. So you believe their lies about, let's say, you being a real woman. But no matter what, filming this, posting it online, will not help you.
I think the common thread for the people that I hate the most and the behavior that I hate the most is when you have bigotry cloaked as concern trolling, right? Bigotry cloaked as concern. It's like, oh, well, I'm just concerned for you and your well-being. No, you're not. Just stop being a fucking pussy and say what you mean, okay? Just say what you mean. Just say that she does not deserve the same rights as the rest of us in the dating market, or the same respect, I should say, the same respect as the rest of us in the dating market. Because once again, I'm not going to sit here and ask somebody about their pussy when I'm dating them, okay? I'm not going to do that. You know why? Because that'd be really weird. It's not my business.
You will definitely not get any more dates.
Also, what's this drip?
You cannot expect that the men you want to date shouldn't care about you being trans. I mean, just because you deal with internalized transphobia, you ignore the fact that you're trans and you claim to be a real woman, doesn't mean that everyone else agree with you. Try to work on self-acceptance, and I wish you all the best.
I don't care if everybody else agrees with me or not. I'm correct. Doesn't matter if they agree with me.
Best.
Let's say that there's a straight man who likes a trans woman but doesn't know that she's trans. He finds out later and maybe...
Hold on.
Let's say that there's a straight man who likes a trans woman but
glad
doesn't
we're
know
in
that she's
English now.
trans. He finds out later and maybe she's pre-op and he's uncomfortable with the idea of being intimate with someone that
Yeah, and at that point he can say, listen, I'm not into dicks, bye. Like, that's it. That's it. Will you hurt her feelings? Probably. But what rejection doesn't hurt? And what reason could you possibly give that will make it not hurt? There's none. Zero. So if you're not comfortable getting into bed with somebody who's got a dick, that's not a big deal. Just tell them no and go on about your merry life.
Has that.
You're going to hurt people's feelings.
In this situation,
sometimes.
there's a right way to go about that and a wrong way to go about that. If the guy was like, hey, sorry, I'm straight, I'm not going to date you. No, that's transphobic.
That's
having
true.
Or not having a specific body part does not define someone's gender.
Then why does removing them affirm their gender?
This is a fascist question. Removing them affirms their gender. I have a very good answer for you. You ready for this? It's because, as it turns out, as a society, we have strongly associated having a penis with being a man and having a vagina with being a woman. So if you're a trans woman and you still have a penis and you see that in the mirror every single day and you're told by media constantly everywhere that you get blasted by women are the ones who have vaginas, women have vaginas, women have vaginas, women have vaginas, women have vaginas, and then you go in the mirror and you look and you see a big swinging dick, what do you think that's going to do to your mentality? What do you think that's going to do to your psyche? Of course you're going to want to fucking remove a dick to me, okay? Of course.
If body parts don't define gender, how is it even possible for trans
people to
exist? The mechanism that makes transsexuals, you know, the real ones, not the fake TikTok ones, transition.
The original joke was add a deck to me. It doesn't work as well when you say remove a deck to me. You're supposed to say remove a dick from me, I guess.
Is the mental disorder gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria describes the extreme discomfort somebody has regarding their biological sex. Their body parts, in other words.
Wait. Gender dysphoria, no.
Somebody has regarding their biological sex.
No, gender dysphoria describes the mismatch between the gender that you were assigned at birth, being boy or girl, and the sex organs that you have. Because there's, again, a strong association between men having penises and women having vaginas. So gender dysphoria is the opposite. It's the inverse of that. It's where you are a man who has a vagina or a woman who has a penis, and the dysphoric element of that is basically all socially driven. Where it's like, of that specific part, I should say. Where it's like, again, if you're a man with a vagina or a woman with a dick, and you're constantly being bombarded with messaging that that's not the way it's supposed to be, that's going to fuck with you mentally. Okay? It just makes sense to me.
Their body parts, in other words. So if your body has nothing to do...
Thank you for the tier 1 sub. It's going to read TTS in a second, but I'll read it anyway.
Power.
How are women and vaginas considered inextricably linked when conservative cis men are some of the biggest pussies on the planet?
That's a great point. Thank you so much for the gifted 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Once again, Saki Tanuki, thank you very much. Always appreciate you, buddy.
With your gender, how can trans people feel dysphoric and actually go out and get a bunch of surgeries?
I just answered this.
So according to you, disclosing your sexuality is transphobic?
I don't know if you realize, but not everyone walks around naked.
Being forced to disclose. No. Sorry. I was thinking about disclosing your genitalia. No, if you are disclosing the fact. Okay, so if you're dating a trans woman, and then you find out she's trans, and you say sorry, I'm as a guy. You say sorry, like a cis guy, and you say sorry, I'm straight. Yeah, that's transphobia, because what you're saying is that that's not actually, like, let's look at the implication there. The implication is that that's not actually a woman you're dating. It's a man who's playing dress up. Okay, that's why I say you're not a real man, because you don't act like one. You act like you're still a woman playing dress up. It's disgusting. Why are you debasing yourself like that? You are a man. Act like it.
Sexuality is transphobic?
I don't know if you realize, but not everyone walks around naked. When you first see someone and you're attracted to them, you have no idea what they have going on down there. You can only assume.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Of course you're right. It was impossible for me to know, without looking at your profile, that you are a woman on testosterone. That was too hard to guess. Without cheating. Right. Being serious, it is...
Oh, is he just calling him, like, ugly? Is that what's going on? Or, like, he's saying that he clocked him? Is this a trans man that he is basically saying that he's clocking? Rain Green? Let's look it up. That's what he's saying. He, him. Yeah, it's a trans man. Okay, so yeah, no, he's saying that, like, he's saying that he clocked him. That's so gross, man. What are you doing?
No idea what they have.
There's so many better things that you can do with your life than fucking harass people who are probably, like, sympathetic to your struggle as a trans person, if you've had one. Sounds like you haven't, really. Sounds like you were handed everything as far as transitioning goes. And then you decided, well, you know, I haven't really had it that bad. Maybe I'll just get into the trans grift and make a bunch of fucking money. That's what it seems like to me.
Down there, you can only assume.
Yes, you're right. Of course you're right. It
So
was
gross,
impossible
man.
for me to know
Disgusting.
without looking
How
at
dare you try to act like you have any fucking consideration for these people that you're just tearing into. Disgusting. Fuck off.
your profile.
Be gone from my
woman on
gender.
testosterone.
You don't deserve it.
That was too hard to guess without cheating. Right. Being serious, it is true that you can be immediately attracted to someone when they have clothes on. But guess what? It's completely fair to lose that attraction once you figure out that they're trans. Because
yeah, once you figure it out, which they don't have any obligation to tell you until they feel like it.
What you have in between your legs, quite important to the majority of all people.
It's still important.
No. Actually. No. Like when you're dating, sure. But again, I don't know what a girl's vagina is going to look like, or her genitalia, I should say. I don't know what it's going to look like. If it's a vagina, a dick, how big it is, how small it is, you know, where the clit's at. Like, I just don't know. Like, okay, I have a general idea where the clit's at, but, you know, it varies where the G-spot's at is what I meant. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you don't know about somebody's genitalia, and you shouldn't know it. Once again, the first thing you do at a date is not ask for the specs on somebody's genitalia.
Important to respect your own boundaries while still respecting other people. So the right thing to say is something along the lines of, hey, sorry, I'm not comfortable being intimate with someone with that body part. It's easy not to be transphobic.
Oh my god.
It's true. No, that's real. That's fine.
The biggest joke of the year. To sum it up, saying, I'm a straight man, so I'm not attracted to a biological...
You have no argument against it, man. What are you talking about? You like throw your hands up and act like it's so obvious. You have no argument. You're just like, oh my god, look at this cringe. Oh. And then like that's it.
Biological male is wrong, but to say...
Wait. What did he say?
I'm a straight man, so I'm not attracted to a biological male is wrong, but to say, hey, I'm not attracted to your specific body part is right. To me, it's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. The implication is different, which you know, by the way. You know this, okay? You know exactly why that's not the same thing. You're just lying.
I have a question for you, Miss Girl. Why can't you just mind your own business? You can be honest with me. Is your dating life so boring that you feel the need to get involved in other people's dating lives?
I feel like I gotta wipe you off of my fucking boot, dude. Like, this is disgusting. I hate this smarmy behavior. This is so gross and grating. What is wrong with you? Stop.
That was a lot. Let me know in the comments down below if you would date a trans person, man or woman. Thank you all for watching this video.
Maybe I should leave a comment. Yeah, that was disgusting, man. I forgot how grody this guy is. She's from Spain. I get rejected for being a fat chick all the time. Well, you don't exactly have to disclose if you're fat. I feel like that's pretty self-evident, right? Like, it's very silly. Anyway, I can't stand that guy if you couldn't tell. But it was fun going over that video. I always have a good time ripping into somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. No, I take it back. That's giving him too much credit. He knows exactly what he's saying. He's just a piece of shit. He's a victim blamer. And again, he's going to be sent to the same gulags as all the other trans people if the conservatives get their way, no matter how much he licks their assholes. So keep licking, buddy. Keep on licking. See what happens. And fuck you. What a reprehensible piece of shit, man. Okay. I've done my part. I am done, man. I gotta stop. Who's live? I still feel like that last segment was better, but I still feel like I'm not at my game. I'm not on my top game. Usually that's just a result of like I get into ups and downs, you know, and usually when I go back and look, I'm like, oh no, that was actually okay. But I don't know. I would consider dating a trans man if they were very androgynous and also a bottom. I mean, again, it just does, like, I don't know. If gender weren't an issue, like, then, like, if gender weren't even part of the equation, then you would just date people and see if you're compatible, and that's it. And, like, people are so scared also of, like, going on dates with people and then, like, just not, either not having sex at all, like that not being a part of it, or just, like, the sex doesn't work out. You know, like, I've had sex that doesn't work out, both with my ex. It happened during a three-way. I tried, like, I couldn't come, man. I couldn't, like, during a fucking three-way. It was the best night of, one of the best nights of my life, and I did not come. And it was kind of a struggle. But, you know, like, we have those struggles, man. I had one with this one chick that I hooked up with on Tinder. And I you know, I nothing, like, we tried sex stuff and it didn't work out. And you can still be friends with these people, man. It's not a big deal. I'm never able to come, though. That sounds like it sucks. But that's just me. And he can't cut his own hair very well. You're giving him a lot of credit. I think his mommy did it. Okay, I'm tired. Starting to get a headache. You guys. Damn, Vosh is still live? How is he still going? I'm not going to host Vosh. It seems cheap. Who's live? Yeah, Voosh bad. Good point. Frames is live. Let's go with Frames. Okay, y'all. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a great night. I will be back on Saturday. I'm going to try for Friday, but I'll definitely be back on Saturday because we have a debate panel coming up that Binks is putting together. Debate panel. It's going to be about it was going to be about the economy, but I think now it's going to be about DeSantis, Trump, and Nikki, whatever her face is, Nikki Haley. And then we're going to talk about immigration as well. So I'm not the biggest fan of panels as compared to just one-on-one debates, but it'll be a good time. So I'll see y'all then. Have a great night. Thanks for being here. And I apologize for being a little grumpy-wumpy. I will try to be more refreshed for you on Friday or Saturday whenever I come back. Have a great night, everybody. Love you all.